This is Gio Woodley, the in-arena voice of the NBA G League's Osceola Magic, and you're listening to a presentation of Shreveport Mudbugs hockey. It's almost time to drop the puck. Let's send it ringside for the Landers Auto Group pregame show with the voice of the Mudbugs, Zach Grant.
Live from Amarillo, Texas, the road trip is almost coming to a close, and it will almost be time for us to say welcome back into George's Pond. But for tonight, one final game on the road trip here in Amarillo that the Budweiser bullpen as the Mudbugs look to go for the weekend sweep of the Wranglers, hanging on to that last playoff spot. And didn't get much help last night from some of the other teams in the league, so we're going to have to make our own luck in this world here tonight as we hit the air. Live from the Budweiser bullpen, Zach Grant and Duncan Welker will be joining me in just a few moments on the Mudbugs warm-up show, driven by Landers, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Fiat. Before we turn our attention to tonight's game, let's just take a look back last night. It was a scoreless first period, kind of sloppy at times, as we talked about with assistant coach Brett Smith in our pregame interview. But then early on in the second period, just 17 seconds in, Ryan Baird beat out an icing call, and well, he got a goal too. Budweiser bullpen will get an icing call, and actually we won as he washed out right in front of chance. It's Baird who scores. The Bugs forced a turnover off there. They beat out the icing call, and Barzy says, let's do it. He scores a goal, and the Bugs are up 1-0. So that was the first goal, put the Bugs up, broke the ice. Then 2 goals in the third period. The first one on a beautiful feed to the middle for Willie Tremblay to make it 2-0. Tremblay kicks it to a stick, fires one top shelf. Willie Tremblay scores, and it's 2-0 Bugs with 8:39 to go. And Willie Tremblay, his 4th of the season, and it's 2-0. Barley. Almost got Duncan's French in there, but nonetheless, then with 2 minutes to go in the game, an empty net, 3-man odd man rush, and it was Liam Wolf-Talby who put the final dagger in the coffin of the Wranglers. Empty net, Julio sliding off to the right. They score. It's Wolf-Talby who scores a goal, and now he's going to mix up as he got hit away from the play. Wolf-Talby grabs the hold of a man down there in the corner, and all heck is breaking loose here with 2:12 as Remy is. So Remy Pusateri also started to mix up. He got a penalty for it, something that I don't think many of us would have ever expected to say with the big gentle giant wearing number 6 in white last night. We'll take a quick timeout. On the other side, we'll hear from assistant coach Brett Smith, and then our very own Duncan Welker will join us on the other side. This is Mudbugs Hockey on Mudbugs Broadcast Network.
Hey Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata & Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata & Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case, or visit them online at DeFata.pi. Fireplace Specialties is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantle and grills, they've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
Welcome back to the Landers warm-up show. Now talking with my assistant coach, Brett Smith. Now, Smitty, almost done with the road trip, headed back home. Can't look too far ahead, though. You got some business to take care of tonight.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. A nice solid win last night overall, but job's not complete. We want to walk out of here with another 2 points tonight, and we're getting going here shortly.
Now, 3-0 victory last night to kind of right the ship after that tough loss Saturday. What did you like most about the way the team played?
You know what? We came out pretty good. We had a good road period to start out. We had some energy, legs are moving. We were making some good solid plays. Excuse me. Kind of dipped in the middle. I thought we stopped skating a little bit in the second, but the way we came together in the third, battled hard, came down the stretch, and then you had Haji in there, backing us up huge when we made some errors. But that's what you need to win hockey games, right? And the boys stuck together and came out with a good 2 points.
They got the big victory on the scoreboard. Shot-wise, though, Amarillo kind of clawed their way back there, outshot the Bugs. What's the adjustment looking into tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried about the shots. I think they probably had 4 or 5 power plays. I mean, we had, 2, but really short ones as well. So, I mean, they definitely picked up a few there. And we gave a little too many shots in the second period, in my opinion. But we just need to be more consistent. I mean, we shut them down pretty heavy in the first on the shots. That's because our legs were moving. We were getting pucks deep. We were playing simple Mudbugs hockey. If we can do that for, 60 minutes, that's when the shots will drift down.
Now, you had those couple of moments in the second period. You mentioned those uncharacteristic D-zone turnovers. Tyler Hodges was big with those. Was that a lack of kind of awareness on the ice, or just a lack of execution getting out of the zone?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, the execution wasn't quite there. We had guys trying to do the right thing, but when you're not skating just as much, you're not finding the right lanes. It's hard to find passing lanes, and that's when it leads to turnovers. You try to get a little fancy. We get away from our game a little bit, and it's inevitable that it's going to stay in your zone, and they're going to generate some chances. But that's why we have good goaltenders. He came up big for us and kept that lead, and eventually got the win.
Now, Hodges with that 26-8 performance, now his third shutout. What makes him so special out there on the ice?
You know what? He just when Haji's on, he's solid. He's poised. He's very good positional. He's not scrambling around, and he's a big body in there. He moves very, very well. And when you have boys like that as a goaltender, as I've learned, as I got a little guy growing up learning these lessons himself in net, it really goes a long way. And every save kind of, the team on the bench gets going, and they're excited, and they know he's there, and it's just a confidence booster for everybody.
Now, with points at a premium, does every game kind of feel like a playoff game at this point?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, we didn't get any help around the league last night, and really, no one's going to give any help anyways because everything's so tight here. So really, it's nice to say that it's in our hands, our results, and if we just keep winning, that's all that matters, and that's the game plan tonight.
All right, thanks, Smitty, for your time. Good luck tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Take a quick time out. Back in a moment on the Landers Warm-Up Show on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Hey, Mudbug fans, if you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or any other private outing, just call us at George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum at 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Once again, that's 318-636-7094 here at George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker. Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke-flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
Hey, this is Tyler Hodges, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action.
Alrighty, Zach Grant back here on the Landers Warm-Up Show. Landers, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Fiat, a proud corporate partner of the Shreveport Mudbugs. Joined now by my partner in crime tonight, Duncan Welker. Now, Duncan, big win for the Bugs last night. We mentioned a little bit in the post-game show. 3-0 victory. They got outshot, so there's still some things that need some adjusting, as we talked with Smitty about. But overall, I'd say a solid effort to start off this final weekend of the road trip.
Well, hello to you, Mr. Zach Grant, and you're right. Solid effort all around. Of
course, we're looking at the shot numbers here, 26-20 in favor of the Wranglers. It's actually kind of funny. So first period, Bugs outshoot the Wranglers 10-4. Second period, Wranglers outshoot the Bugs 14-5. And then the third, it was somewhat balanced, 8-5 in favor of the Wranglers. But no, that second period, barrage of shots from the Wranglers definitely kind of attributed to that 26-20 total shot final. But nonetheless, what mattered was 3 goals for the Bugs, none for the Wranglers. And hopefully the repeat performance is just as sweet as Valentine's Day candy.
Absolutely. Now, of course, Tyler Hodges, another great performance, his 3rd shutout of the season. But again, you don't want to put too much pressure on your goaltender because goaltenders have off nights sometimes.
No, absolutely. Of course, we saw it last week with Ethan Phillips, a 3-0 win against Lone Star, and then the next night, well, we all know what happened there. But
yeah, let's not talk about that one.
No, but you're absolutely right, and honestly, any Mudbug historian will tell you, even Ken Carroll had some nights off. John DeCaro had some nights off. Just, the goalie position in hockey is an interesting one. I'll put it like that, Zach. It's fun. It's fun to play because I did play a little goalie in youth hockey with the junior Mudbugs back in the day, but, that's about me. No, it's just goalies are fun people. I'll put it like that as the referees make their way out onto the ice to the somewhat adulation of here the Budweiser bullpen fans. I heard a little smattering of boos, but we go on from there, though, Zach.
Absolutely. Now, that was a look at last night. Let's look ahead to tonight with tonight's injury scratch report, and as always, our Whataburger starting lineups.
Thank you, Zach. Of course, Morrison DeWitt Injury Lawyers injury report. No injuries for the Bugs. Correction, there is an injury for the Bugs. Jonah Jasser out with an upper body injury after suffering a puck to the ear. So, there you go. So, Jonah Jasser will be out for tonight. And then, of course, on the healthy scratch side of things, only one name, that's number 37, Jason Simons. And then suspension-wise, Jason Soupy Campbell is serving the second game of his 2-game suspension he acquired last week in Lone Star. But that is all for your Morrison DeWitt Injury Lawyers injury report. Once again, brought to you by friends at Morrison DeWitt Injury Lawyers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your Whataburger starting lineups, brought to you by your friends at Whataburger. Whataburger, just like you like it. Firstly, for these Amarillo Wranglers, head coach by who else? Michael Hill. Assistant coach is Lucas Stern. Athletic trainer is Lisa Johnson. And the head equipment manager is George Escamilla as the Mudbugs make their way out onto the ice. Firstly, for these Amarillo Wranglers, at the left wing, number 77, Daniel Rasega. At the center and taking the opening pass at number 25, Ty Izzati. And at the right wing, number 93, Caden Higardi. At the left defense, number 14, Hayden Hedquist. And at the right defense, number 5, Tiernan O'Rourke. And getting started net tonight for the Amarillo Wranglers, number 33, Casimir Weckstrom. Of course, that is for you, the Amarillo Wranglers. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your Whataburger starting lineup for your Shreveport Mudbugs. At the left wing from Nashville, Tennessee, number 9, Ryan Beard. At center and taking the opening faceoff from Brighton, Michigan, number 22, Charlie Birchfield. At the right wing from Habertown, Pennsylvania, number 36, Joe Somenko. At the left defense from Wheaton, Illinois, number 4, Johnny Burt. And at the right defense from Denver, Colorado, the 6'4", standing 6'4", number 6, Remy Pusateri. And getting the start in that tonight for your Shreveport Mudbugs, number 31, the Gormley, Ontario native, Tyler Hodges. Of course, your Mudbugs are led tonight by Brett Smith. Willis Knighton athletic trainer is Hunter Robinson. Honorary assistant coach is Chris Lane. And, of course, your head equipment manager is Billy T. Welker. Those are your Whataburger starting lineups. Once again, brought to you by friends at Whataburger. Whataburger, just like you like it. As the Mudbugs are already on the ice and on the bench, and now the Amarillo Wranglers are going to make their way out onto the ice. Bugs, once again, are in the white jerseys with the red trimmings. Of course, the center logo is the Bugs logo with the claw in place of the U, which, not gonna lie, I've said it before, Zach, I'm gonna say it again. I love that logo because I think it's a way to keep tradition alive, if you will. But it's just my opinion. Of course, Amarillo, last night they were the Arena Clowns. We got the name wrong, the Arena Clowns. So, but now they are the Amarillo Wranglers. Once again, they're in their blue home jerseys with the white shoulder tops and the white and red middle stripe. So,
That is all for my side of things, Zach. Now Amarillo makes their way out on the ice, though.
Yeah, the Wranglers make their way out on the ice here at the Butler of the bullpen. A lot better crowd than we saw last night. Still not full in here, but it's kind of a weak showing for them attendance-wise last night, but they've got some more fans joining them here on the finale of this weekend series, and the Wranglers will head off for some new games. The Bugs will be back at home. They're taking on the Odessa Jackalopes Friday and Saturday. First stop on the promotional schedule is God and Goals Night, presented by Word of God, and then on Saturday it's Paws and Claws Night, the rebranded night where you can bring out your pooches to George's Pond with you. Be sure to log on now and get your ticket today. They'll be going fast. Bugs have not been home for over a month, so we cannot wait to see everybody back home at George's Pond.
Absolutely, and of course, the best way, in my opinion, to get tickets, save a little money, family 4-pack for both nights. Firstly, on Friday night, 4 tickets, 4 bags of popcorn, and 4 post-game skate passes to the Word of God Ministries concert as part of God's Gold Night, brought to you by friends at Word of God Ministries. Use the code FAMILY when purchasing tickets at tickets.georgespond34.com. Of course, that, if you need more tickets, cost 318-636-7094. And of course, on Saturday night, same deal, 4 tickets, 4 popcorn bags, and 4 post-game skate passes. Once again, use the code FAMILY for either one of those nights, or both, by purchasing tickets at tickets.georgespond34.com. All that for $44, Zach. That's a heck of a deal right there, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Get some great night out and great night of hockey as well. We'll take a timeout. Opening puck drop is on the other side here between the Bugs and the Wranglers on the Mudbugs Broadcast Network.
Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata and Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case, or visit them online at defatapi.com. Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker. Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area, and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage, and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be. Fireplace Specialties is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantled and grills, they've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport, or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
This is Mr. Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Festivities getting ready to conclude here at the Budweiser Bullpen, or as the building is known, of course, the Amarillo Civic Center out here in downtown Amarillo, Texas, out in the desert. Bugs closing out the road trip here tonight before heading back home to George's Pond. And for the first game in, well, too many days. I can't even count that high, but it's about a month and a half or so, so that's must needed to be back at home. Tonight's first period brought to you as always by our friends at Advanced Air Conditioning and Heating, offering installations, repairs, and maintenance for homes and businesses in the area. Log on to AdvancedAC.com. That's AdvancedAC.com. And tonight's opening puck trap is always brought to you by our friends at Landers Dodge Jeep, Chrysler, Ram, and Fiat. The Bugs will hustle over to the bench. And it's just about time for hockey here on this Saturday night.
Oh, it's a great Saturday night. And as you mentioned, Zach, the bullpen here in Amarillo is looking a little fuller. Right in front of us, even right down below us, actually. But more importantly, Zach, the points that need to come out of this game, and I mean the 2 points that come out of this game, are the most crucial. Guys now up to their feet. Looks like Charlie Birchfield, as I mentioned, will be taking the opening face-off. Ty Izadi for the Wranglers. Guys up onto their feet. Signals thrown around. I'm excited. Let's get her going, brother.
All righty, here we go. Bucks will move right to left. The puck is down, and we are underway. It's game number 43 of the season. And just like last night, a quick stoppage comes 4 seconds in. Barrett, Wolf, Talby, Trombley, the goal scorers last night in the Bucks' 3-0 victory. Looking to repeat here tonight against the Amarillo Wranglers. And a lot of back and forth last night. Not a lot of action for some people here in the building. But we'll see what we get tonight. Is another puck already chipped in. That's 2 stoppages in 8 seconds. So that's fun. And then they let the clock roll a little bit more. So we'll go with 2 stoppages in 9 seconds. But nonetheless, another neutral zone draw here again. A slow start to this one again. Izadi to take the draw again. And at least we get to see Charlie Birchfield quite a bit tonight. Getting the face-off action. The newcomer joined the team on Saturday last week. So he's playing in just his 3rd Mudbugs games. He tries to dump that into the zone, but the Wranglers will seal it away at the blue line. Birchfield gets it right back, turns and fires it in. Back of the cage it's played, wrapped around the board to the far side. Up the wall it comes. Waiting for it is Resega, their leading scorer, held off the scoreboard last night. Puck's at center ice, comes near side, and is backhanded in. As the Bugs will get some fresh bodies out there, wrapped around the boards, and Birchfield forces a turnover in the offensive end. Far corner it goes, tied up along the wall, eventually bounces free for Hayden Hedquist, a defenseman, and he'll ship it up the wall back out to center. Owen Case off the bench will slap it in for the red line. Bugs have to tie up. Duke Earhart skates after it, back in the lineup after serving his 1-game suspension last night. Into the corner it goes, far side, it's Dolan. Tied up along the wall, knocked down there below the goal line. Off to Hodges' right, now he looks off to his left as it's played up the wall by the Wrangler to the blue line. Shot there through the slot, tipped away by Dolan. Try to feed it towards the net. Comes back in the corner for Bennett. Bennett lost the puck. Flipped up the wall again. They try to turn and fire. They whiff on a dump attempt. Up ahead, trying to feed it to Gerhardt at center. It goes to the blue line. Eventually gets turned over, but Hodges will corral it behind the net. And the Bugs will start the breakout a minute and a half in. Quick headman pass up to the blue line. Gerhardt into the zone. Turns it to the middle. But that was nobody home, and it goes back the other way. Brought in by Bolinze. Crashes towards the net. Shot there. Rebound, and Hodges didn't know where it was. Just got a piece of it to keep it out. We remain scoreless. Almost 2 minutes in. Flipped up to center ice. All the way right to the neutral ice red line where it's picked up by Koval. He tried to dump it in. Bugs will hold it out at the blue line. Now work back into their own end. Moving right to left in this opening frame. Adams off to his right for Gerhardt. Couldn't corral it cleanly. Then he gets tripped up by Koval there as those two both fall to the ice at center. Comes all the way back down into the Bugs' end, and they'll corral it again to set up the breakout as the Wranglers are on a change. Adams plays it to the middle. Gets kicked forward by Gerhardt. He goes off for a change. Will touch it in back to his own end, rather, where it's tied up along the boards again. Sakriski's got it. Works off to the right of that. Had his pocket picked. Wranglers get it back. Offensive end. Slid up to the blue line for Poe. At the right point. Fires one. Never got to the net. Got blocked into circles by Sakriski. He'll feed it off to the right. And the Bugs will play it up ahead as Wolf Talby's going to almost win a foot race to it. Except for the netminder smartly coming out to play it. And now Thornton will bring it the other way for Amarillo. Dumps it in front of the blue line. Burnt will track it down in the far corner. He wraps it around. We're going to get an icing whistle. That'll stop time with 17:13 to go in the opening frame. Shots 2-0 in favor of Amarillo. They're on top. It's still early, but they're on top in the shot counter once again here, Duncan.
Absolutely. And of course, Zach, as always, all icings this season are brought to you by our friends at Louder's Baking Company. Once again, that's Louder's Baking Company, the newest corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs hockey, as the faceoff comes out to the left-hand side of Tyler Hodges.
So Remy will corral the loose puck off to the face-off at a defensive end. Eventually goes for John Burnt, flips it up the wall, but it's held in at the hash mark. So Krisky gets it back, turns it over to the far side, and going to be dumped in. Icing is washed out, so Amarillo will have to track it down and play it. Try the headman pass up ahead, goes off of Haggerty's stick, and an icing call coming the other way. Stops time with 16:53, so the Bugs now will get an offensive zone face-off.
That's good to see. That's good to see. And, of course, hopefully there's not too many consecutive icings back-to-back like there was in that stretch of the third period last night. What was it, like 3, almost 4 back-to-back-to-back and to-back icings? Gosh, that was...
It was a lot. I lost count. It might have been 4. We'll go with 4.
Yeah.
Face-off comes far side O-zone for the Bugs. One back to the wall for Owen Case, but he can't corral it cleanly. Goes back out to center, and Zach Wilson will retreat back into his own end. Back pedals right through the crease. Dangerous pass there for Owen Case. Feeds it back over for Wilson now in the left corner. Wilson starts to break out, flips it up, but it's eventually intercepted right in the slot. Azadi from a knee trying to one-time it. Rasega gets a rebound. His pass to the middle is broken up. Over Raskin's stick, gets a piece of it towards the net, and Hodges will cover up for another stoppage.
Looks like it bounced off the skate of Jared Griner as he goes off for a change, and then just right onto the glove of Tyler Hodges. So, you know, again, that wherewithal from Tyler Hodges to hopefully repeat his performance from last night, but still the wherewithal there from Tyler Hodges, good stuff.
Daniel Dolan will take the face-off. He's 6'2" forward. He's got 13 points on the year. I gets thrown out of the face-off, so in to help him out will be Hayden Hedquist, the 6'4" defenseman. Hedquist was a big playmaker for Amarillo last night. We'll see how things shake out this evening. 16:30 left to go in the opening frame. Giveaway below the goal line as Bennett gets wrapped up and tossed down to the ice. Crowd wants a call, not going to get one. It comes back out to center ice. Dolan tracks it down to center circle. Gives it far side, wrapped around the boards. Referees let him play last night. Looks like we're going to get more of the save as Owen Case controls behind his own net. Works off to the right, fakes to the left, back to the right, and just going to settle it down and wait. Around Bennett, outlet pass, up ahead. Now Buck gets tripped up. Shreveport wants a call. They're not going to get one either. So 2 for 2, one each way. So that works as Birchfield now across the blue line. Off the giveaway, Birchfield down to a knee, trying to corral it cleanly. Couldn't at the far circle. Dolan wraps it around the boards, back up to the blue line. Comes out to center for Bennett. Through the middle logo. Bennett off to his right, walks down the slot, fired one. He would have beat Hodges stick side, but he lifted it up over the net and into the netting and out of play for a whistle with 15:41 left in the opening frame. Shots are still 2-0. The Bugs have had some offensive zone time, just haven't been able to turn those into shots on goal.
No, absolutely. And back down here when a Wrangler got thrown down to the ice, it looks like he might have been a little trapped there. But you mentioned it was 2 for 2 on missed calls, so you know, one missed call one way, one missed call the other way. I mean, it's not.
Right off the draws, Gentler takes a shot in the slot, and Bullenzade's going to go after Mitchell Reed. Reed has the height advantage over there. Mitchell stands 6'2". Bullenzade comes in at 6'1", only an inch according to the stats, but linesmen step in quickly. Mitchell Reed, he's no stranger to some fights as of late.
Oh, no, absolutely not. New Mexico, that was something else. I'll put it like that.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. Evan Adams is against
Gentler in to take the draw, rather, for Amarillo, but the Bugs will control as Adams will work it off to left. Again, dangerously through the crease. Bugs really cut it close with Tyler Hodges. At the blue line, it's flipped up in the air, comes back out to center. Tracked down by Reed. He'll fire it in. Back of the cage is played by Rexstrom. Leaves it off for Hayden Hedquist. Feeds it off to the right. Up to the center. Bullenzade's going to send a little shiver towards Mitchell Reed. Those two are going at it tonight. Gives it far side now for Fair. Behind the net, below the goal line. Feeds it near side for Dolan. Dolan up to center for Thornton. That one gets tracked down. Icing washed out. Adams picks it up. Slams on the brakes behind Hodges. 14:58 left in the opening frame. No score on this Saturday night in Amarillo. Bugs got the 3-0 victory last night despite being outshot. Looking for more of the same here this evening as it's turned and fired in for the blue line. Goes off of the referee, which actually helps the Bugs. Instead of going all the way down, they'll hold it at the blue line. Wranglers get it right back as they touch up. Into the zone it comes, but Remy will track it down. Defensive end, far side, in the corner. Into the slot for Hoagland. Hoagland fires it up. Goes off a stick there of Gerhard, and everybody's going to head off for a change as the Wranglers will control back of their own net. Flipped up the wall by Bennett again. Icing is going to be won by Remy Pusateri. Draws a whistle with 14:23. I know, Duncan, you look at these two games, last night and tonight, it's been a lot of close icing races.
No, absolutely, of course. Now, granted, one of those close icing races was negated because it was won by Ryan Barrett. Although some people say if you look at the footage, it might have been a little here or there, but it obviously helped the Bugs in last night's win. No, but absolutely, close ice races will do either wonders or will hurt. So
That was a close icing.
Oh, yeah.
Indisputable. Well, that's what we'll go with.
Yep.
Call stands. As the Wranglers will play it out to center, all the way to the blue line for Izzati. Swings it off to the left. Down the bottom left circle. Back for Izzati in the slot. Couldn't corral it. The Bugs will start to break out a 3-on-2 if they can hurry. Up the near side. Brought in over the line by Roberts. Dekes around one defender. Crouches toward the net. Pitchforks it there. Goes off the side of the cage. And Amarillo will play it back out as Izzati will move with speed to his left. Izzati over the line. Hits the brakes. Into the slot it goes. Over the stick that time of Resega. Into the corner. Now Roberts will flip it up the wall. Give it away right at the blue line. Here's Izzati. Bottom of the right circle. He'll cycle back up to the blue line. And it's whiffed on there at the point by McCorster. Didn't call his name at all last night. But to the blue line it comes. Bugs will clear it out to center ice. Off to the right of the center logo. Wolf Talby battles a couple of Wranglers. Eventually loses the battle as Amarillo will rifle it off the glass. And Owen Case will track it down D-zone, far corner. Again, up the half wall. Bugs can't get it out. Now they do on the second chances. Tracking it down that time is Jared Griner right in front of the benches. Griner leaves it back into his zone for Wilson. Outlet pass doesn't connect. Tremblay's going to win the footer race. Almost had a chance, and he had the goal last night, his first goal in a while. Centering feed right out in front. Big slap shot for Griner. And now away from the plate, DiUlio and Dolan are going at it. And Vinny's just going to stare him down. And now away, Willie Tremblay mixing it up with Landon Poe. He's going after Poe, who's 6'6". Willie coming in at 5'8", but he's a scrappy player. You love to see it, and looks like the referee is going to take both. We're going to skate 4-on-4 with 12:59 to go here in the first.
Yeah, David and Goliath there for Willie Tremblay on Landon Poe. No, you're right, 6'6", 210. And then Willie Tremblay, of course, comes in at 5'8", 180. That's so. I mean, don't get me wrong, though. Don't get me wrong, though. In the scrap that there was between those two, Willie, well, he didn't take him down, obviously, but Willie had a shot or two. So as 2 minutes are thrown into the void for each, both Landon Poe and Willie Tremblay will skate 4-on-4 here. And like I mentioned last night, back in Lone Star, and really from what I've actually seen of the last couple games, anytime there's a 4-on-4, it seems to throw off a lot of teams. Mudbugs seems to have a better 4-on-4 play than most teams in this division, but that's just from one vantage point.
So 4-on-4 we skate. He's trying to work out the zone as O'Rourke. He gets spun off the puck by Vinny DiUlio there. He's got it tied up in his skates. Now up ahead, it's poked forward by Fair. Below the goal line, works off to his right. Slides up the half wall. Leaves it off at the bottom of the left circle. Behind it again, Amarillo plays. Bucks get it back, defensive end trying to clear it out here. Playing catch in their own zone as Owen Case will feed it to the far side. Intercepted that time by the Wranglers. Flip it up the wall. Waiting for it there is O'Rourke. O'Rourke into the slot. Fires one from the blue line, and Hodges will pounce on top of it and gobble up the rebound like a marsupial for a whistle with 12:22 left in the first.
Marsupial, eh?
Uh-huh.
All right.
That's what we're going with.
All right.
Getting it out of the way early tonight.
That's fair. That's fair. So, Mudbugs did get a shot on goal, so that's good to see. But granted, not recently, but still.
Well, and like Smitty talked about in our pregame, his shots don't always tell the whole story,
Absolutely.
of course. And the Bugs have had some chances so far in the game as Birchfield gets rubbed off the puck. Into the corner it goes. Left off, and redelivers the check on his number 2 counterpart, Koval. But now Amarillo's got a 2-on-2 the other way with speed down the slot towards the net. Saved there by Hodges. He blockers it down to the ice. Somehow got a piece of it. Back the other way. The Bucks have a 2-on-2. This game already more lively than pretty much all of last night as that shot gets turned aside of the wall. Picked back up by Hedquist. He'll leave it below the goal line and working off to the left of that is McCorster. Up the far side, he'll drop it off in the corner. 48 seconds left on the 4-on-4. 11:44 left to go in the opening frame in a scoreless Saturday night affair between the Wranglers and the Mudbugs. And it's played by O'Rourke up the near side. Cuts off to his right. Trying to split the D that time. Lost the puck as he slams on the brakes, but feeds it to the high slot. Toe drag for Boers. Boers looks, fired from the circle. Whistles it wide. It goes all the way down, and the Bugs are going to try to win the footer race. It's John Byrne. He gets around 2 Wranglers and gets the puck. Fed it to the middle for Gerhard, who was trying to track down the slot. That doesn't connect cleanly, though, and the Wranglers back the other way quickly. Here they come. Bolinze with a shot gets tipped up into the glass and into the netting and out of play with 11:10 to go. 11 seconds left on the 4-on-4, and now some more fireworks right in front of the referee there. Bolinze getting tied up with a couple of Bugs. And again, Duncan, this is a much different hockey game in the opening 9 minutes or so than we saw last night.
Oh, no, really, it is. Just fast-paced action. And what I like to see was Mitchell Reed try to make an offensive contribution there. You don't see that much from Mitchell Reed, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong. I'm not saying there's something wrong with it, because believe me, there's not. But you don't see it often out of Mitchell Reed, and I know his family's watching, so hello to them, but also good stuff for Mitchell Reed.
That's what goes off the side of the net. Yeah, Mitchell is a true defenseman. He's not going to put up numbers. He's got 3 points on the year. His last coming back in December against El Paso, but he's a reliable stand on the blue line, but he does his job. But he's not going to, like you said, he's not a two-way defenseman like John Burt, for example, who's going to put up a lot of goals and play defense. But the defensemen all have a part to play in the lineup, and Mitchell Reed does his extremely well as Gerhard will start it up the far side as the 4-on-4 expires. So now we're full and even strength as Gerhard touches it forward. He's going to split the D and use his feet to try to work in the puck, then gets taken down. Up the near wall it comes to the blue line. Back in front for Earhart, crashes towards the net. He gets jumped from behind by Koval, and now Earhart is getting jumped by everybody out there. Hoagland comes into defense. Gerhard will tango with McCourse through that time as the linesmen step in again, and Duke did not get to play last night due to his suspension. Back in the lineup, works hard, gets taken down the corner, and then as he's going to the net, Koval just jumps him from behind, and it looks like the Wranglers are going to end up short-handed out of this, and the Bugs are going to go to their first power play. We only got to see 2 partial power plays for the Bugs last night, so this is their chance.
No, and that's a good thing. But what I found interesting, and luckily it led to the penalty for the Amarillo Wranglers, but Duke Earhart just got entangled with, 3 Amarillo Wranglers? I mean, so he goes to the net, and he just gets entangled after the play, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it. You don't want a guy crashing the net towards your goalie when he makes a save, but man, that 3-on-1, that's a little much. But nonetheless, Scott Powerline power play. Let's get her done.
Now Rasega gets called for the penalty, and there's a big blast right off the face-off for Hoagland, and that comes off. Conspiracy grows. And so Rasega sits, although I didn't see him really involved too much in that, but looked like it was mostly Koval. But nonetheless, the Bugs are on the power play. Again, Bugs 0 for 2 yesterday. Power play has been improving, sitting at 17%. January was under 15, so much improved there in the last couple of weeks. As it's one back for Adams at the blue line, slides it across far point, back up top for Adams. High slot for Hoagland, left circle. Back to his right for a whistle with 10:17 left. That was so beautifully set up for the Bugs.
Oh, it was. Did I hear immediate whistle? I swear I might have heard a.
And you did.
Okay.
Yeah, you did. There was a.
But yeah.
Media timeout horn, but not yet.
No, but nonetheless, Wexstrom just absolutely robbed Evan Hoagland there, and it just, man, it's disappointing. But obviously, if you're Wexstrom, good stuff there. It's the Bucks win the faceoff.
Back up top for Adams, slides it down to the left hash marks for Hoagland. Hoagland to the inside of the ring will send it up into the netting and out of play. So we'll keep it here again with 10:10 to go. Bugs have now brought the shot totals to within 1, 6-5, and they've got 30 seconds gone in the power play.
Yeah, so good initial effort from this Scott Powerline power play, Zach. Just got to keep it moving. Go, go, go. Keep it moving as Evan Hoagland takes his face off to the left of Wexstrom.
Hoagland wins it, and Wolf Talby gets it to the hash marks and tried to send it to the blue line, but nobody was home, so Evan Adams will track it all the way back down. Exactly midway through this opening period, no score. Shots are 7-5. Favor of Amarillo. They got another one during that stoppage on the scoreboard. Adams gets it in, but eventually dumped all the way down, so that'll kill off about the first half of the penalty. 1:05 to go on the power play. Bugs get some fresh bodies out there, so they'll hold on to it behind the net as John Burt will skate in to grab it. Still waiting behind Hodges. Now works off to the left of the net. At the goal line, he slides it for Gerhard at the circle. Gerhard back the other way. Bugs moving the puck well. Man gets tripped up. Coming in was Roberts. No call, and the puck goes all the way back down. Straight to Hodges. He's got to play it because Hegarty was coming down the wing for Amarillo. 40 seconds to go on the power play. Up ahead for Gerhard at center. Feeds it across the red line to the blue, but Amarillo steals it back away. They almost turn it over in their own end, but it's rifled into their bench and almost took their goalie out sitting there at the end of the bench for a whistle with 9:09 to go.
So you got 29 seconds left on this Scott Powerline power play, and the last few minutes were Johnny Burnt holding it back, obviously trying to set up a play, but you just can't let these Amarillo Wranglers get stick on puck, especially because A, they clear it, but also, from what I understand, Zach, their penalty kill Granted, not as great as the Mudbugs, but halfway decent. Am I correct on that?
No, theirs is 31st in the league.
Oh, well, never mind then.
31st out of, what, 35 total, right? So, yeah, it's not very good for Amarillo. But they had a good night last night. Of course, they didn't have a full 2 minutes to defend, but Bucks had 2 power plays. As Gerhardt over skates, it would have been offside. He had to let it go, and now Bullenze is going to win the foot race to it. Behind the net as the penalty expires. Fires one off the side of the net, and now the net comes off against the Bucks with 8:38.
Yeah, so Bullenze shot it right at the post, and it just dinged out. And again, as we mentioned, the pegs used here at the Budweiser bullpen are the round spike pegs that just go into the ground. And don't get me wrong, they're good for like youth hockey and stuff like that, but if you notice, a lot of pro teams and a lot of teams, including us in the North American Hockey League, use the narrow rubber peg. So, but
Puck comes back out to center. McCorster tracks down his own blue line, feeds it ahead into the offensive end. Bugs steal it right back immediately, though. That goes through Bennett's skate on the clearing attempt. Chipped back in by Amarillo. Julio tracks it down right in front of his bench along the near wall. D it goes behind the goal line, flipped up the wall for Gabe Lopez Corsi. Eventually turned and fired in by Amarillo. In the far corner, tracked down by Dolan. Dolan towards the net. Burt steals it away, rifles it up the board. So Tremblay goes off of him, but the Bugs are going to get the breakout anyway. 3-on-3 the other direction. This one is kind of just softly labeled in there from the blue line, and that'll bring us to our media timeout with 8:01 left in the opening frame. It's scoreless on this Saturday night in Amarillo.
Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata and Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case, or visit them online at defatapi.com.
Hey fan, this is William Alexis Tremblay, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Walker. Now let's get back to the action. Let's go, Bugs.
Mudbugs Hockey is brought to you by Sonic Drive-In. This is Howie Sonic. We'd also like to remind you that Fireplace Specialties is a proud corporate partner of your Mudbugs. Fireplaces, gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantles, and grills, they've got it all. Located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport, or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties, your five quarters. 8:01 to go. First period, we're scoreless. Bugs will have an offensive zone face-off after Julio just kind of barely sent it over the blue line and ended up trickling on net, so they got a ozone draw out of it. But Amarillo will quickly take it back the other way. Into open ice it comes. Along the far half wall it comes now, up to the blue line, held in for a moment, but then eventually Tremblay will turn it out of the zone. Julio leaves it into skates for Reed, back to Vinny over the middle. That one's turned aside, off the side of the net, and Zani will play it. It takes a big hit as he cleared down for Mitchell Reed. And Reed, again, not afraid to get physical out there on the ice. 7.5 to go. Opening period, Azadi, nice move to split the D into the offensive end. Turned eventually to the wall. In the corner, it's tracked down by Resega. Works off towards the near side behind the goal line. 4-car pile up for it there as Reed and Resega get tied up once more. Resega, the leading scorer, lost his stick. Now has to just kick it along, and he's shoved off the board. Haggerty comes in, corral it. Good battle right there. Resega and Reed still tied up away from the play. Referee trying to get him to separate. Back up top. Drive from the blue line is stopped that time as Hodges is out of his crease right side to play it for a whistle with 6:59.
That was an interesting development there as Mitchell Reed, no, you're right, held on to Daniel Resega, but man, I'm surprised nothing came out of it. Granted, we'll take it, don't get me wrong, but that was interesting. Almost held him like a sleeper, well, not like a sleeper, more like a DDT, but that's enough wrestling expertise moves.
Step off the draw, and a fluke goal that time for Amarillo. Puts them on the board for the first time this weekend. It's Bolanze. He gets goal number 9 of the season, and with 6:56 to go, it's 1-0 Wranglers.
You're right, Zach. I'm not going to lie, that was a bit of a fluky goal as it just kind of floated in the, like literally off the face-off in the air, with Jake Boulonze's goal attempt. And just, yeah. Also, Zach, before we continue on, of course, they throw the Stars here in Amarillo, so another team that throws the fun items on the ice. And as the weirdly remixed Ring of Fire plays, last time we were in this building on a Saturday night, I got sick of it, and trust me.
Yeah.
I very much want to hear it. Only once, please.
And so you heard it a lot that night, unfortunately.
Gosh. Oh, it was just...
this doesn't, and this remix, I know we sound like boomers every weekend, but, you know, it is what it is. But this remix makes no sense.
Well, I mean, for what it's worth, as you can see some of the fans clap, well, as we can see them clapping, I mean, I get it. You know, every team's going to have a weird goal horn.
That's true. I'll give them that.
No, but as for the goal, like we mentioned, it was kind of a fluky goal. And as we mentioned before, if it crossed the line and it counts, and well, that's where we lay as we come back to the neutral zone here, and Evan Hogan will take the face-off here.
Tie up off the draw. Wranglers up 1-0 after the goal. Played back into the D zone for the Bugs. Wilson rifles it up the wall for Gerhardt. Stolen away from him. Wranglers quickly back in over the blue line. They'll wrap it around the board's far side. Owen Case gets shoved into the board at the puck, so that actually helped Owen out there in that foot race, and Wilson will slide it around the boards. Gerhardt was waiting for it, and Bollinger will cut him off to get to the puck first. Below the goal line, it's again played by Amarillo. Flipped up the wall. Bollinger's all over the ice as he takes a high hit from Hoagland. That's going to be a penalty on Evan, and the Bugs are now going to be shorthanded. Charging is the call. I don't know about charging, but it was indeed a penalty nonetheless, so Hoagland will sit for 2. And this power play unit for Amarillo, which comes in 28th in the league, 0 for 4 yesterday, is going to get their first shot here tonight.
Yeah, so charging is the call on Evan Hoagland, and I'm not going to lie, that you're right, that was a weird iteration of charging, but now this is not the penalty the Bugs want to take, especially after going down 1-0 like that. But this penalty kill unit needs to step up. As big as their reputation is, they need to step up further to keep this a 1-0 hockey game.
Face off one of the wall, back up top to the blue line. Caught in by Kurtais. Barely keeps it on side, slides it across the left point. Drive there is tipped on the way towards the net, goes up over top and off the top of the glass and stays in. Poe gets his touch shot, or Lupo rather gets a touch on it, and it goes all the way over everybody's stick and back out to center ice. 22 seconds gone on the kill. Bugs trail 1-0, 5:56 to play in the opening frame, and Reed will get it off and call for a change, but that's an ill-advised change as the Wranglers quickly bring it back in. Earhart will flip it up off the glass, and Uppett takes a weird hop, and it bounces right to an offensive man. Going for the chance there is Diulio, and that's going to be a penalty on Amarillo, so wipe out the power play. We're going to skate 4-on-4 for the second time this evening, as that was a weird clearing attempt that bounced free to Vin. He ran it to blue line, and he came in and got hooked off the puck.
Well, it's weird, it's wacky, but hey, we'll take it as Karatai goes into the box for hooking right here, and then just, yeah, no, that you're right. And I was going to even comment on that. That was a weird bounce, and as I said it before, use every part of these boards because the puck will bounce, and it bounced there, and if Vinny Giulio would have been able to get it on net, that would have been a really good shorthanded scoring attempt there, because don't get me wrong, that was nice, but hey, you know what? We'll take the 4-on-4.
Well, yeah, I think that's another scenario there as the draw is won by Hedquist and wrapped around the boards in the DN for Amarillo. That's a play that the Mudbugs, the last few weeks coming into this weekend, probably don't make. They're just playing different this weekend. There's a connectedness to them in all phases of the game as the Wranglers have an offensive end. Right point, backhanded to the circle. Burnt got a touch on it, but can't clear it. Dolan holds it in, being harassed off the puck that time by Remy. Eventually played by Gerhardt. He'll snap it into open ice. Up the far wing, Bugs bring it in, down to the bottom of the right circle. Looking, centering feed there in the crease. Getting cross-checked was Burnt there as he got knocked down. Back up top for Case. Case one-time drive. And get knocked down again was Burnt right in front of the net by Hedquist that time. Referee says play on. 31 seconds to go on the 4-on-4 before Hoagland penalty expires. Gerhardt to the right point for Case. Fired one through traffic. Had Christie cutting down the middle, but that's turned aside. Gerhardt gets it back. Left circle at the hash marks. Down low. Knocked off the puck that time. Back up to the blue line. Case slides it back across. Drive there. Touched by Gerhardt. Rebound comes out in front. There's all kind of collisions going on as Rexstrom got knocked down away from the play. The referee is not calling it as a Bug gets taken down and cross-checked while he's down on the ice. Looks like we might now get a penalty call. And I know what the Wranglers are upset about. Rexstrom got knocked down. That was after the Buck got knocked in by his own man. And then he gets jumped from behind. We'll see what call's upcoming. It looks like the only penalty, no, Petrov's going in as well. So it's going to be 4-on-4. Actually, I thought I saw Buck going to the box. Yeah, they are going to send Sakrisky to the box, or Semengo.
They're sending Semengo too. That's so.
Semengo going to the box. He got hit from behind, and Brett Smith is now in front of his players trying to take up the case here.
No, I mean, as he should be, because I mean, Joe Semengo gets knocked in to Wexstrom, and yet then just a fun.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Just gonna leave it at that.
What Semengo's supposed to do there? He got knocked into the goalie, and then he gets cross-checked while he's down on the ice. So I don't know what Semengo is supposed to do, quite frankly. As Hoagland is up and standing up in the box, he's got 2 seconds left on his penalty. So it's going to be 4-on-4 for 2 seconds.
Yep.
And then it'll be an abbreviated power play for 45 seconds before the rest of that becomes 4-on-4, I think.
Yeah. So
we got too many penalties and too many spurts here, so we will corral that as soon as we can, as Adams will pick it up behind the net. 4:15 to go, first period. Bugs trail by a goal. Adams weaves through the middle. Off to left for Sakrisky. Pitches it back for Adams. Sakrisky gets it back. Earhart tried to slide it to the right point. Goes off of Chase. Hoagland out of the box for Chase. Back up top for Hoagland. Right point for Earhart. High slot. Works to the bottom of the left circle. Into the corner it goes. Bucks cycle it back up top. Sure tried to, but it got deflected. Sakrisky changes direction, and now I think the net came off again when nobody was near it. So we'll get an offensive zone draw with 13 seconds left on the power play. It's a lot of things happening here tonight, Doug.
Oh, you're good as we're talking over each other. No, but so as the PA announcer announced it, both of the penalties for, of course, Joe Semengo, and then, of course, for number 16, Igor Petrov, both for roughing here.
There's Hoagland, top of the left circle. Back across to the right. Centering feet there for Wolf Talby. He couldn't poke it towards the net. Back up top for Adams. Adams slides it to the right circle. Big drive there. He's turned aside. Rebound right walking down Man Street untouched with Wolf Talby. Rexstrom got a piece of it. The penalty has expired, so it was going to be icing, but Hodges came out to play it, so that'll wipe it out. Bugs will again be 4-on-4. Back up top. Or 5-on-5 now. Those two penalties don't affect strength because it was already 4-on-4. So Case gets it, flips it up the wall to center. Earhart had a piece of it for a moment, but Vinny's going to have to track it down in the slot. Julio around two Wranglers will leave it off for his defenseman. Owen Case gets it near corner, flips up the wall for Lopez Corsi to the blue line. Out of the zone as Earhart gets a touch ahead to center. Wranglers try to bat it back down. Bugs get it back. Here's Julio up the near wing, shoved off the puck there by Fair. Up to center ice, it's Boulanger with it. The first goal for the Wranglers. Tried to take a shot there. That got deflected. Never got to the net. In the corner, the Bugs pick it up. Defensive end. Centering feed there. Goes up top for Vinny Julio. Gets it out to center ice. Vinny in over the blue line. Into the slot for Wilson. Wilson left circle. Drives one. Rebound. Loose in the crease. And it's under a couple of Wranglers. Now the referee blows the play dead. The net came off again. So another stoppage for the net coming off. And so Wranglers will be unable to change. And the Bugs will get an offensive zone draw with 2:36 to go.
Yeah. Yes. Interesting stuff, Zach, as the net has come off a few times. But again, some people say it's a conspiracy, and the others say it's an ice tech issue. Somewhere it lies in there.
It's both, yeah. I mean, it's probably partially both. So here we go, near side. Ozone draw for the Bugs, one back to the wall, but eventually Izzani will play it out for Amarillo. Back across left side, in over the line, centering feet for the trailer Haggerty. Hodges got a piece of it and immediately readjusts the post so we can play on. Here's Griner in over the line left side. Knocked off the puck and sends a forearm shiver back the other way as things are getting a little testy here tonight. Big drive for Sega, and Hodges will paddle it to his glove, and he'll hang on for a whistle with 2:14. And now another meeting of the minds back of the net there with 2:14 to go. A much different game, pace-wise, and also fireworks-wise. We were calm last night.
No, I would. Don't get me wrong. This might sound a little odd coming from somebody who's been in Southern hockey, but man, I rather would take a calm game right now than fireworks because you don't want to see. You don't want to lose players for both penalties, suspensions, fights, injuries, all that fun stuff. But you also want a calm pace game so you can develop plays, develop opportunities. But yeah.
But gets taken down there on the draw, comes all the way down. Another icing whistle. As running a nice screen that time was Tarasenko. Didn't call his name either. So he prevents Roberts from winning that foot race, and we'll bring it all the way back down 200 feet.
Yeah, speaking of Jeremiah Roberts, his family's in the crowd. And Zach, we're going to try another fun experiment. I'm going to try to get a word in with him as part of our North Caddo Express Loop First Intermission Show. Of course, driven to you by our friends at the North Caddo Express Loop in Vivian. Of course, mention the discount code MUDBUGS25 to get 10% off of all services. Again, that's the discount code MUDBUGS25, and happens again.
And that's another icing. And again, providing the screen there, trying to win the foot race with Roberts. Could have potentially drawn an interference call there, but we play on with 2:01 to go here in the first. Another D-zone draw upcoming for the Bugs, and we'd like to remind you that Buffalo Wild Wings, the proud corporate partner of your Mud Bugs, Wings, Beers, Sports. Hopefully we'll get to have another watch party over at B-Dubs before the season comes to an end. As Thornton's going to get thrown out of the draw, and well, we're going to just redo it. Yeah. So we'll take it as Thornton. And now we're going to get another restart. We had the dress rehearsal, the tech rehearsal, and there was the first performance as O'Rourke will flip it over the net. Far side for Roberts, back out to center. And now a giveaway, 2-on-1 developing for the Bugs. In the slot for Barrett, couldn't corral it cleanly. He was looking for his second goal of the weekend. Thornton back the other way quickly, in over the blue line. Onside, says the linesman. Comes far side into the corner. At the goal line, it's puck comes to a stop for a moment, eventually picked back up by Amarillo. It's Boris, fires one for the net, rebound, comes out in front, and it's covered for a whistle as Remy comes to provide some help for his goaltender with 92 seconds to go here in the first.
Nothing wrong with that. It's Dodge is adjusting his equipment. He's talking to that official there. Just in a much different game, Zach, as we mentioned, really throughout. Like even second one, it's been an entirely different hockey game from last night. It's up there. Stephen Hoagland takes the face off to the left of Tyler Rogers.
Rosati wins it back to Tarasenko. He'll fire one. That's turned aside. Back the other way for Gerhardt. Tried a headman pass. He didn't know where it was, and now it's dumped back down as the Wranglers stay on side. Azadi hits the brakes at the hash marks far side. Azadi down low at the right or left wing. Eventually cleared all the way down by the Bugs, and icing's going to be washed out as the puck was touched up. Minute and 10 seconds to go. Opening frame 1-0. Delayed for Amarillo after the Boulanger goal as this one's played up ahead. Haggerty's got to win the foot race to it in the corner. Wraps it around the wall for Izadi. Gets it out the kick plate right side. Back up top for Poe at the right point. His shot gets deflected on the way towards the net. Back up top it comes. Versega will dump it down back into the corner. Running some defensive help there with Mitchell Reed on his man Haggerty. Haggerty, far corner, leaves it off below the goal line again as the Wranglers come back to the near side. Versega will hit the brakes, come back far side, back up the wall for Poe. Right point, fires one. That got tipped in front again. And Hoagland will steal it away from Phillips, or Hodges rather, try to cover it. Puck comes back out. Poe will dive. Can't keep it in, though. It comes back out to center with 20 seconds to go. Gerhardt forces a turnover. Gerhardt left circle. Rifles one that got tipped off the top of the glass and stayed in play. Back out to center comes with 15 seconds. Up ahead and over the line is Lupo. Changes direction. Works back up to the blue line. Feeds it down low for Versega. Can't corral it. Duke Earhart will pick it up, and Earhart will come to the middle for Wilson, who touches it ahead. Icing potentially is washed out, and that's going to do it for the opening 20 minutes as the Wranglers will touch it up and just hold on to it in the D zone. So a back and forth first period. Shots are 12-11 in favor of Amarillo, and the scoreboard reads 1-0 Wranglers after the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, just again, Zach, we go back to it. I'm going to say it again. Much different hockey game than last night. Score-wise, shot-wise, and just pace-wise, it's not, well, I don't know. It's not if I were a coach, it's not ideally something I would want. I would want, again, a slower pace, developed hockey game. But again, that's why I'm not a coach. I'm a broadcaster and an assistant equipment manager and IT. No, I'm kidding. No, but my point is that it's a much different game. It's a much different atmosphere. It's just different. That's the word, different.
And Amarillo, again, they've struggled this season. They're at the bottom of the division, although the way the South has been this year, that doesn't really mean anything because there's still only a few games out of a playoff spot. But something that I've noticed with Amarillo this season, when they've controlled the pace, that's when they've won. The Bugs have to get back and control pace-wise like they did last night, slow the game down a little bit and play our style of hockey in the second 40 minutes here tonight.
Yeah, play that Mudbug style hockey. There's nothing else that can be said on that front. Just play the Mudbug way. So that's where we leave things, Zach.
So we'll take a quick timeout. On the other side, we'll be back to recap that first period. And we'll have a few special interviews coming up in the break here as the Mudbugs trail 1-0 after the first period on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata & Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata & Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case or visit them online at defatapi.com. Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker. Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Hey, this is Tyler Hodges, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Alrighty, back here in Amarillo, 1-0 the Wranglers lead after the opening period of play tonight. This first intermission report brought to you by our friends at the North Caddo Express Lube and Vivian, offering oil changes, inspection stickers, transmission services, vehicle and key fob batteries. Mention the discount code MUDBUGS25 and get 10% off your service. Call 318-375-5823 to schedule your appointment or for more information. So, again, 12-11, Amarillo with the shots lead. Close back and forth battle in the first. 1-0 the score in favor of the Wranglers, but you got to be happy with the effort so far tonight. And Hodges has had a couple of big saves. He had that goal that he probably wants back, but, you know, he's been pretty solid behind the pipe so far.
No, absolutely. Stopping 11 of 12 so far towards his way. And, of course, on the other side, Weckstrom stopping 11 of 11. But, no, it's just the effort is there, and that's the good thing. That's always the good thing. You need a consistent effort. But the biggest thing is like we mentioned, we need to take the pace away from these Wranglers and try to switch it back onto the side of the Bugs, and just that's where we need to get things going. I couldn't think of my phrase there, Zach. Sorry.
It's late on the in the desert. I guess it's not late, but it's been fun. Saturdays are always tough with the schedule of the day for the Bugs for sure. But again, they got off to the fast start. It was a slow start last night. Did not get off to a slow start tonight, either team. The Bugs, like I said, they just have to start controlling the pace a little bit more. And I think the other big thing is, it seems like tonight when they're in the offensive zone, they're looking for that extra pass. Where last night, as we know, they just shot the puck, and that works pretty well for them on all three goals.
Oh, it does, and just. I mean, obviously, right now the shots are evened up, which was a lot different than what we saw last night when the Bugs had the shot advantage. So I get the feeling that the more the shots are evened up, the more it's going to be in favor of the Amarillo Wranglers. I know that sounded weird, but my point is, again, it all goes back to that pacing issue. And, again, it's in the pace favor of the Amarillo Wranglers. Next period, boys, got to take it away. Play Mudbug hockey. smart Mudbug hockey, mind you, because there's been some dust-ups on the left side, on the right side, and just all in between. But no, play smart Mudbug hockey this next 20 minutes, Zach.
Absolutely. We'll take a quick timeout. On the other side, Duncan Welker will sit down with Duke Earhart as our first intermission guest as the North Caddo Express Loop First Intermission Show rolls on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Specialties is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace, gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantle and grills. They've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport, or once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters. Hey, Mudbug fans, if you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or any other private outing, just call us at George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum at 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Once again, that's 318-636-7094 here at George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Welcome back to the North Caddo Express Loop First Intermission Show, driven to you by our friends at the North Caddo Express Loop in Vivian. Mention the discount code MUDBUGS25 to get 10% off your order. Once again, that's the discount code MUDBUGS25. Now joining me is Mudbugs forward number 12, Duke Earhart. And Duke, welcome back.
Thank you.
Of course, not only welcome back into the interview portion of the North Caddo Express Loop First Intermission Show, but also welcome back to the lineup after you served your one-game suspension. But nonetheless, welcome back.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So, Duke, we come into game number 2 of this weekend tilt against these Amarillo Wranglers after an excellent, but I'll admit, slow-paced game last night. 3-0 was the final score, but nonetheless, what was the word in the dressing room? What was the word in the dressing room after coming out?
I mean, it was a good win. We haven't beat those guys this year yet, so that's definitely a good thing. You know, watching from up top, I'm fresh today, so hopefully I can give a lot in the game tonight.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of watching up top, I'm a little curious. Now, obviously, watching in the stands versus being on the ice is a different perspective. But tell the folks at home a little bit about that perspective, like watching up top versus watching on the bench. Obviously, it's a blunt one, but still, just if you can in much detail.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier to see all the mistakes we make, but when you're on the ice, kind of just don't see stuff like that. So it's definitely a wider view, see what the coaches are thinking and stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, speaking of coaches, Jason Soupy Campbell serving his second suspension tonight, second game suspension tonight. He'll be back next time we are at home. And speaking of Soupy, I had a chance to talk to him. Obviously, he's been coaching his team for almost 9+ years now. Of course, as a head coach, assistant coach, the first year the Mudbugs were back. But no, you're right. It is interesting to see how things can develop. Now, Duke, what's your personal game plan for tonight, especially after coming back off the suspension?
Yeah, I think just keep my feet moving all the time. I'll be a little more fresh, so I can just move quicker, hopefully. Just be relentless for 60 minutes.
Absolutely. So, Duke, moving away from the hockey side of things, at least for now, what's going on in the world of Duke Earhart?
My car got totaled recently.
Oh, gosh.
Been talking to insurance companies and stuff. It's been
Good.
fun.
Good. I was about to say, what was your what model was your car? What brand?
It's Nissan Sentra.
Nissan Sentra.
Yep.
Okay. I would say, are you looking to try to get something similar to that, or try to maybe a little up?
I mean, depends on how much money I get. Hopefully, something nicer.
Oh, absolutely. And a good place to get a car, whether new or used, is our friends at Landers, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Fiat. Of course, they actually helped my dad get into his brand new red Ford truck in their pre-owned section. So, a little bit of a plug there, but it's true though. I mean, the good folks at Landers can help. But moving along, Duke, what else is going on in your world?
hopefully start playing some golf soon. Weather's been nicer after the ice storm. That'd be nice. Get outside some more, and
Yeah,
that'll be good.
absolutely. I was about to say, what's your handicap?
Ooh, I don't even know.
You don't know your handicap. That's
Not
all
a
right.
good sign.
Oh, you're right. I've asked a couple of the other of the other golfers around, and
Maybe 30.
maybe 30. Okay,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Now, what's the dream course of yours to play at?
I don't even know. Home course is Huntington in Shreveport, but I don't watch a ton of golf or anything, so.
I'm sure Augusta comes to mind, though.
Yeah.
But,
Something with some water and some beach, maybe.
yeah, I was about to say that would definitely be a change from the Huntington Golf Course there in Shreveport. So, Duke, of course, the Mardi Gras season is coming to an end, especially this Tuesday. Have you gotten a chance to celebrate a little bit?
Not much. I had some king cake, which was, I had some last year, but it's definitely underwhelming. A lot of native Shreveport people hype it up a lot. It's kind of dust.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
that's.
don't want to stir any
No,
pots,
you're
but
good. You're good. You're good. Although I think, in my opinion, I think the best king cake is from actually one of our newest corporate partners, Lowder's Baking Company, and they sponsor all the icings on the ice. But I think the best king cake is at Lowder's Baking Company. Again, just a quick plug, but you know what? I think it's the truth. So, moving along from that side of things, Duke, what's the plan after? What's the plan after the season, and hopefully a little further into it?
got some vacations planned.
Nice.
My sister's having a baby
Nice.
around March, so hopefully get to visit
Oh, absolutely. You know
him
what?
or her.
Yeah. Uncle Duke. You know what?
Yeah.
That would be sweet.
Unk status.
Unk status is crazy. No, but Duke, one last thing for you, and I'm gonna let you get going here. So, Duke, we like I mentioned, we come tonight against these Amarillo Wranglers, and of course, I feel like maybe not an underrated aspect. It's kind of been talked about it to death at this point. On the other side of things, Michael Hill. What was your relationship with the former Mudbugs assistant bench boss?
I like him. I think he's funny. I think he's got a good hockey mind, and he's a fun guy to have on the ice. But playing against him before last night seemed like he kind of had our number, knew what we were doing. But I feel like we're getting away from that and just starting to own him.
Starting to get it going. But yeah, good. Well, Duke, that is all I got for you. Thank you for joining me here on the North Caddo First Intermission, the North Caddo Express Loop First Intermission Report. And of course, as always, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with more after these messages here on the North Caddo Express Loop First Intermission Show. You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and the Mudbugs Broadcast Network. Fireplace Specialties is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantled and grills, they've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
Alrighty, welcome back into the North Caddo Express Loop First Intermission Show. Looks like Duncan Welker has found Jeremiah. So we did this in North Richmond Hills against the dreaded Lone Star Browns. We're going to try it again here tonight here in Amarillo. So let's send it down now to try to catch up with Robert's family on this North Caddo
We're
Express
live
Loop.
on the concourse here at the Budweiser bullpen, and joining me now is the Roberts clan, Jeremiah Roberts family. Of course, you got Papa Roberts, Mama Roberts, and Brother Roberts. All right, guys, so welcome in. It's a little loud, and so hopefully you guys will be able to hear me. But firstly, thoughts on the period so far?
It's a good period. We got to keep a hold of the puck and keep our passes strong. And I think this team will pull through. Just keep that aggression going, and we'll see how the second period comes out.
Absolutely, Brother Roberts. Any thoughts from your side?
Just got to be less careless with the puck and come out more aggressive in the second half.
Absolutely, and then so that's just where we lay things on that. Now, guys, Jeremiah Roberts, great kid all around. What got him into hockey? I'm a little curious from y'all's perspective.
My parents, his grandparents, we saw him go to Colorado College Tigers hockey games all the time, and he just kind of loved the sport. We tried to put him on the ice when he was 4. He wouldn't even touch the ice. We put him out there when he was 5. Gave him a bucket. He skated like 3 quarters around the rink, threw the bucket away, and he's been skating ever since. So he just loves the sport.
Oh, absolutely. He's been skating ever since, and he's done a pretty good job, especially with the Bugs this season so far. He had a really good weekend back, actually, at the beginning of the new year, 2026, back at Georgia's Pond inside Hearst Coliseum. And speaking of which, I've seen you guys both here in Amarillo, in New Mexico, and as well as in Shreveport during the holiday weekend. So, and I asked you this before we came on, where you guys all at?
We're from Colorado, Colorado Springs. So, the drive down here isn't too bad to come down and see them live. So that's what we're trying to do as much as we can.
I know, and that's a good thing. And speaking of which, you guys going to try to make the drive through on the way next time we play New Mexico?
Yep, we will be there on May 13th for sure. We'll be down there.
Absolutely. Now, Brother Roberts, I got a question. Growing up with Jeremiah, as fun as it is, I heard the little chuckle there. How fun was that?
Oh, it was amazing. He was wanted big brother. Other than that, it was good.
Love to see it. Love to see it. Now, as I'm sure Jeremiah told you guys, he took a knock in camp, and so he had to wait a bit for his Mudbugs debut. But when he did come back in November, around the November time, he made an immediate impact against the Lone Star Brahmas. Now, what was that kind of build-up coming back to the Mudbugs like for you guys? Because I'm sure he talked to you guys almost every other day about it.
Yeah, he actually came back to the house and, kind of regrouped himself, got his mind back together, and, just wanted to stay positive as much as possible, work himself back into the lineup, and, he's just happy to be here. He's happy to be playing for the Bugs, and, we're trying to do everything we can to make an impact for him.
Oh, no, absolutely. And, we love Jeremiah here. Like I mentioned earlier, Jeremiah's a good kid. He has his moments, but, everybody does. We all do. That's the beauty of being human. Now, Brother Roberts, Brother Roberts, rather, what was Jeremiah like outside of, big brother, little brother relationship? How was it like seeing him play on the ice?
It's a blessing to come through. I love seeing him play. I'm always that critic, but I'm always. He's very sportsman.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, I'm fairly certain a lot of us with siblings, myself included, your big sibling is always not only your biggest critic, but also your number one fan. Well, Roberts Clan, thank you guys for joining us here in the concourse of the Amarillo Civic Center, the Budweiser Bullpen. It's great to talk to you guys. Of course, we'll see you not only, throughout the rest of this game, but we'll also see you guys next week in New Mexico.
All right, thank you guys. Go Bucks!
Oh, yeah. Go Bucks. All right, guys, we'll be back on the other side here on the Mudbugs Broadcast Network.
Fireplace Specialties is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantle and grills, they've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
Are you planning a group night at the rink? Bring out your friends, coworkers, classmates, or teammates and take advantage of special group rates for future Mudbugs home games. Groups of 10 or more get tickets for just $10 each. It's affordable, it's fun, and it's a perfect night out at George's Pond. Call 318-636-7094 today to book your group and lock in your seats for all the Mudbugs action.
Hey, this is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action. Claws up.
Alrighty, back here, our first intermission report, as always, brought to us by our friends at North Caddo Express Lube in Vivian, offering all kinds of services for your vehicle to include oil changes, transmission services, inspection stickers, vehicle key fob batteries. Mention the discount code MUDBUGS25. That's MUDBUGS and the number 25 and get 10% off your service. Call 318-375-5823 for more information. Time now as Duncan Welker makes his trek back up here to the broadcast booth high atop the Budweiser bullpen. Take a look at our out-of-town scoreboard in this first intermission. Couple of big games coming up here as we look at this out-of-town scoreboard. The standings in the South Division, as they have been all season long, are really tight. Just a few points kind of covering. And Odessa did fall eventually in their game against Corpus Christi last night, but they made it to the shootout, so we only gained a point on them. But Right now, they're trailing by 2 goals. It's 5-3 with 7 minutes to go in the third period in Odessa. The Ice Rays being outshot by Odessa 39-36, but they have the big 2-goal lead there over the Jackalopes, so the Mudbugs need to make the comeback and get those 2 points, try to get some separation against the Jackalopes before we see them next weekend at home. Elsewhere around the NAHL South Division, Oklahoma on top of El Paso 1-0. They scored on just their second shot of the game, and that's only 5 minutes into the first period there. And, of course, Lone Star is dormant this weekend, so that is a look at our out-of-town scoreboard in the South Division. We'll take a quick timeout. The second period is on the other side of the break on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata & Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata & Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case, or visit them online at defatapi.com. Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker. Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area, and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage, and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Hey, Mudbug fans, if you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or any other private outing, just call us at George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum at 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Once again, that's 318-636 George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum.
Hey, this is Tyler Hodges, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action.
Hey there, Mudbugs fans. If you're looking for the perfect spot for birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or private outing, George's Pond has you covered. Call 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Bucks are coming back out of the ice for the start of the second period, and their middle frame tonight is always brought to you by DeFata & Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services. If you have personal matters, child custody cases, or internal theft problems at your business, call our main man, Jerry, at 318-635-9944 to discuss your case, or log on to defatapi.com. That'll put a wrap on our North Canada Express Loop first intermission show. Second 20 minutes coming up. Bugs trailing 1-0. A good performance in that first period, but they find themselves on the shallow end of the scoreboard after 2.
Yeah, no, as all parties involved are coming back out onto the ice now. Again, we mention it, and I'm going to say it one more time. For those of you who are just tuning in, regardless of where you're at, pace-wise, you got to switch it. Right now, the pace favors the Amarillo Wranglers. Got to flip that. Flip it and reverse it. I don't know the full song. I'm not a 90s kid. I'm sure I'm going to get yelled at for that by somebody, but no. But my point being, you just got to take this momentum away from the Wranglers and leave it on the side of the Bucks. But more importantly, Zach, boys are up to their feet. Signals thrown all around. Charlie Birchfield on the faceoff. I'm excited. Second period. Let's get her going, brother.
Face-off controlled by Amarillo. We're back underway as O'Rourke will wrap it around the boards quickly into the Bucks' defensive end. Remy takes a back check before he got to the puck, and now it's controlled by Joe Semengo back in the lineup. Semengo, the Havertown, Pennsylvania native, as he brings it in quickly, but Amarillo forces a turnover. And now right out in front in the slot, walking down is Burton, who fires one from the left circle. That's turned aside. Semengo tracks it back down, centering feet again off the side of the net. Rebound goes off of the net liner and into the goal. And for the second straight night, the Bucks score in the opening minute of the second period, and we're knotted up at 1.
Love to see it. Ryan Barrett looks like he's going to get the credit for that as he poked it in right past Weckstrom. So it looks like it'll be Ryan Barrett getting the credit, unless we hear otherwise. But good stuff. 1932. Man, it just seems like Ryan Barrett just loves to get those early second period goals. I love it. You know, everybody has their something, you know.
Deja vu out there, and it's going to be Barrett from, they went fast on that one. I think it was Birchfield and Semengo, I think they showed us.
We'll find it out. We'll relay it down.
So face-off controlled by the Bugs. They'll wrap it in quickly. Let's see if that can energize them. Things give away right out in front. They score on the doorstep. Coming back in the lineup, it's Duke Earhart. It's 2 goals in 12 seconds, and the Bugs retake the lead. It's 2-1.
Love it, love it, love it. Duke dropping the nuke. Love to see it. Duke Earhart as Grayson Gerhardt goes and gives them a celebratory welcome back. Head pat. Love to see it. Bugs up 2-1, 1924. Let's go.
So assists go to Gerhardt and Hoagland that time. So that goal for Duke Earhart is now his 12th of the season. His last goal, well, that was a pretty big one because his last goal was back against El Paso. We all remember how that ended up as he got the first goal of the game before the Bucks came back, scoring 3 goals in a span of 2 minutes to overcome a 2-goal deficit and win in overtime.
Fun game.
Far point, big drive there, turned aside. Hoagland gets it back. It was also the last overtime of the game the Bugs have played. This one goes all the way back up to the Bugs blue line. Boulanze will rifle it around. Hodges gets a touch on it. He gave it away. Chipped up in the air. And this is the second period early on as Boulanze will fire another one. Goes far side. Eventually tracked down by Gentler. This is looking a lot more like last night's game. Thornton slides it across for Hedquist. Left point through traffic. Never got to the net. Earhart will win a footer race to it. And Duke will start up the far wing. Duke at the red line hits the brakes, now rifles it off of a Wrangler, but Hedquist will turn and fire it down. Icing is waved off. He was on the red line. Comes near side for Case. He'll backhand it up the wall. Held it at the blue line by Hedquist. Hedquist towards the net. Lost it. Back to the blue line it comes. Picked up by Lupo. Lupo tries to fire it towards the net, and the Bugs will get a piece of it with the body. Goes back out to the wall, and Hedquist sends it in from center ice once more. Zach Wilson overskates the puck. Gets it back far wall. Tied up along the draw. Just about 2 minutes gone here in the second period. Bucks scored 2 goals in the opening minute, 12 seconds apart. They've got a 2-1 lead. Up high, big drive for the high point. Rebound almost sneaks past Hodges, just like we saw down on the other end as things are getting kind of crazy here early in the second period. Far side's controlled by Boers. Bugs will eventually seal it away in the defensive end. Zach Wilson throwing the body around, trying to win the race to the puck. Flipped up along the half wall. Roberts plays it to the blue line and just barely out of the zone. Tarasenko tracks it down. D-to-D, he goes up ahead. Azadi down the slot, fired one. Hodges down to make the stop. Back to the blue line, but not out. Poe will flip it up, and Hodges will glove it out of midair like a center fielder. He makes the stop for a whistle with 17:29, and that was dangerous there, Duncan.
Dangerous? But Zach, you know what else is dangerous? Magnets, sometimes. And Tyler Hodges right there. Puck to glove like metal to a magnet. I was waiting on that. No, but in all reality, as we finally get a stoppage here, just what a fun 3 minutes this has been. So.
Well, back to the blue line, Amarillo offensive end, centering feed that time, broken up by the Bugs. Tremblay will win the footer race to it. He'll drop it back behind his own net, wrapped around the board's far side of the blue line for Griner. Sent it back low for Willie. Willie at the circles, back up top for Jared. Jared at center ice, weaves through the middle. Trying to feed it over to the right. That pass doesn't connect. They don't enter the zone cleanly. Picked up by Amarillo. Tremblay gets a stick on it in the corner. Flip back up the wall by the Wranglers to the blue line. Just barely out. Bugs will tag up, and Griner will turn and fire it in. Wrapped around the boards near side around the referee is Vinny DiUlio. Tried to feed it to the middle, but it's broken up by the Wranglers. Versega tries to win a footer race, but Adams gets his touch on it and slides it across to the far side. And the Bugs send it all the way back down into the Wranglers' end. 16:47 left. Second period. 2-1 Bugs. How things have turned in the last few moments there. The first one for Ryan Baird, his second goal in as many games in the opening minute of a period, of the second nonetheless. And then Duke Earhart follows up just 12 seconds after that. Azadi quickly into the zone. Foot race with Remy for it. Far wall. Azadi's going to win the foot race. Versega slides it up the wall, but it doesn't have enough juice to get to the blue line. Turned over by Amarillo, but they get it right back at the blue line. Bugs steal it back in the slot as Burt plays it up to the blue line and out to center. Sakrisky turns and fires it into the offensive end, but Amarillo will move quickly the other way. Rasega drop back, tried to hit Dolan walking down the slot, but he didn't corral it cleanly. Bugs on a 2-on-2. Sakrisky slams on the brakes as he enters the zone. Dolan seals it away, wraps it around the kick plate. Remy will pinch and hold in, sends it below the goal line. Back and forth we go again here, back to that first period pace. Up top for Pusateri, tried to pitchfork it down low. Stolen away by Bennett at center. Sakrisky gets it back as they turn it over and neutral ice there. Rexstrom will come out of his net to play it. Swings it off to the right side. Far wall at the circles. Headman pass up to the blue line. Touched in over the line. Dolan knocked down off the puck. Semengo clears it up ahead for Barrett. Barrett down the right wing. Barrett looks to the middle for Burt. Couldn't corral it cleanly. Gets a shot on net, but that's covered up. And now another meeting of the mind as Landon Poe skates in. After a bug there, as everything will get calmed down as the linesmen quickly step in, and Hunter Robinson will jog off for something down. I didn't know if there was an injured player maybe, but everything looks to be okay for the moment. 15:31 left here in the second. 2-1 Bugs with the lead, and shots 15-14 in favor of Shreveport.
Yeah. As Hunter was going off, that's just where we leave things, Zach. And we actually have a scoring update thanks to honorary assistant coach Chris Lane. El Paso 2-1 over the Warriors. So that's good. That's good news for the Bugs as Oklahoma's right in front of them. And of course, Corpus Christi still leads the Odessa Jackalopes 5-4. So good stuff, at least for the Bugs needing help. But that's just where we land.
That's 2 straight goals now for El Paso to take the lead. But Odessa got one back. It was 5-3. Wilson drives one. Oh, man, he's got a ripping shot. We talk about it more than once, but my goodness, he uses all of that tall frame he's got there to rifle it at people. Picked up at their own blue line. Barrett will touch it ahead into the zone. Tarasenko picks it back up for Amarillo. Turned over right at the blue line to Birchfield for a moment. It's stolen away from him as Zach Wilson tracks it down. Plays catch with Owen Case. Gets to the right dot. Back across the left. In the D zone. Back for Owen. Looks to start the breakout. Touches it ahead to the red line. Dumped in by the Bugs. Foot race for it again. Tarasenko tracks it down. Wraps it around the boards near side at the half wall. Gentler plays it to the middle. Bolenze will pick up the loose puck off the boards. He'll wrap it all the way around, and waiting for it is fair. He backhands it up towards the blue line, but the Bugs get a piece of it out of the box, or off the bench rather. Lupo. Lupo lost it below the goal line. Picked up in the corner by the Bugs again. Earhart far side for Mitchell Reed. Centers it in front of the net, and now it's played back out to center. Bugs with a 3-player entry, but they'll dump it in and go off for a change. Some of them. Mitchell Reed throwing the body around back of the cage. But again, he's been a really physical tonight as Earhart tracks down a loose puck for Grayson Gerhard. So Earhart to Gerhard. There you go. Separated by just one letter as Earhart slides it back up to the blue line. Pusateri off of the bench calls for it. He's going to play the carom. Plays it into the corner. Goes, takes a weird hop off the boards right there in the corner. Remy stays with it. Feeds it for Hoagland. Hoagland takes it out of the skate of a Wrangler. Centering feet there. Tried to hit Gerhard on the doorstep that time. Goes for Adams far side. Back for Gerhard below the cage. Throwing the body around as well. Wranglers trying to break it out. 13:52 to go in the second. Bugs lead 2-1. Centering feed right out in front. Big drive at point-blank range is stopped by Rexstrom. Keeps Wranglers in the game. Back the other way, the Amarillo into the offensive end. Man spun off the puck there. Bugs have some open ice to play with. Up ahead for Gerhard. Gerhard at the hash marks. Drops it off for Earhard. That one's stolen away. Back to the blue line. And Amarillo will chip it out. Thornton up the far wing. Thornton tries to get around Remy. Sends it towards the net. Goes through the crease. Bounces near side for Azadi. You can't corral it. And Griner picked it up at center. Bugs back the other way. Griner in over the line left side. Drops it off for Willie. In the slot. Looked a lot like how they set up his last goal last night. Up to the blue line. Big blast that time. Goes wide of the net. Man gets knocked down behind the play. Wranglers back up. They've got a 2-on-none. Up ahead. Big shot there. Kick saved by Hodges. Got it with his right skate. Sends it over to the half wall. Burnt into the corner, goes for Ozani. Ozani leaves it off for Haggerty below the goal line for Amarillo in the offensive end. Back up top, Tarasenko feeds it down low for Haggerty. Griner's going to win the foot race for it below the goal line. Sends it off to the right of his netminder. Remy will flip it up the wall to center. Bugs find the escape valve, but it's going to go all the way down for icing as Giulio can't win the foot race. That stops time. We'll bring it back 200 feet with 12:46 to go.
And of course, all icings this season are brought to you by our friends at Louder's Baking Company. Once again, that's Louder's Baking Company, the newest corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs hockey. And looks like Hunter Robinson's back on. He just had to grab the water bottles. So good stuff there for Hunter. And actually, Zach, honorary assistant coach Chris Lane, once again, scoring update. Odessa 5, Corpus 5, El Paso 3, Oklahoma 1. So lot of scoring action in those two games.
And here's the giveaway right out in front, flipped up in the air through the crease. Great chance for Amarillo as they're fighting another icing call. So things are going good in El Paso. Things are not going so great for us in Odessa.
No.
Jackalope 1 point back of the Bugs after they got all the way to a shootout last night. But, yeah, that's unfortunate for the Bugs as the playoff race tightens up.
Oh, absolutely, but I hate to say this, but I like when hockey games are chaotic in a good way. Obviously, you want chaos in a good way for the Bugs, but we'll find, well, you know, like chaos was back in the early moments of the second, so.
Sometimes it works out for you. Sometimes it doesn't. As Tremblay plays it below the goal line for Remy, who picks it up off to the left of his netminder. 12:20 and rolling here in the second period. Moving along in this middle frame. And now we got delayed penalty upcoming. And it's touched up by Azadi, and the Bucks power play going to get a chance here as long as Vinny doesn't retaliate too much there. So linesman will step in, cross-checking the call. The Bucks up a goal are now going to be up a man.
And just as we finish, thank you to Matt Beinog, Corpus scores 6-5. So, wow, what a chaotic hockey game there at the Ector County Coliseum. Just wow, as Landon Poe goes into the box. It looks like it'll be for a cross check. Yes, it will. So Bucks will go in the Scott Powerline power play, Zach. Just a hectic second period, not only here on the ice, but across the entire South Division.
That is crazy. My buddy Joey down in Corpus Christi is having a night right now.
Oh, yeah, I know he is.
Face-off comes near side. Wolf Talby will just pounce on top of the puck. Adams will get it free to the blue line. Here's Hoagland. Fires one. That shot turned aside. Wolf Talby gets it back for Evan. Across to the other Evan. That's Adams. Now Hoagland fires from the left circle. Rebound in front of Wolf Talby. Whacking at it. Can't get it to come home. Adams back to the blue line. Into open ice. Walks into the slot, feeds it for Hoagland. One-time blast, that turned aside. Rebound for Wolf Talby. Goes over his stick, back up to the blue line for Adams. Adams corrals, toes the line, into the slot. Fires one again, just off the side of the net. Rebound comes below the goal line, back up top for Evan Hoagland. At the left hash marks, feeds it in the left corner. Back for Hoagie. Fires one, and bottle pops, but it went off the side of the net, not a goal. As it's played for Wolf Talby, pitchforks it back to the blue line for Adams. Slides it across, another drive for Hoagland. Wide of the net is Weckstrom trying to get a piece of it. Wolf Talby trying to continue the barrage. Walks into the slot, fires it. That one goes off the side net as well. Earhart gets it back below the goal line. Bugs with some good pressure. Wolf Talby up top for Adams. Adams high slot. Back for Hoagland. Left circle. Cycles it down into the corner. Centering feed for Wolf Talby. One-timer from an E. Can't corral it. Buck is taken down behind the play and then eventually cleared by Amarillo. Good play there. 50 seconds left on the kill for them. Bugs, that power play rolling right now. Couldn't get a goal, but wow, they had 5-6 chances on that time in the offensive zone as Roberts picks it up in the near corner, flips it across below the goal line in the defensive end. Bucks got 35 seconds to go on the power play. Case will cycle it back into his zone. Now they're going the wrong way. They're going south, need to go north. Here's Griner across the blue line. Just barely trickles into the zone. Gerhard got a piece of it. Racing after it is Burnt. He'll hold it in. Left point down to the bottom of the left circle for Griner. Griner below the goal line again. Shoved off the puck. Wrapped around the boards, but not out. Roberts holds it in, hash marks, right circle, fires one wide. Trickles up to the blue line of Resega, just barely enough to backhand it out. Goes up to Bolenze, who plays it in to the offensive end. He shoves Owen Case into the boards, but Kaser gets the puck. Penalty is over, back 5-on-5. Successful kill, but the Bucks quickly down the slot. It's Gerhard, centering feed again. Trying to touch it back with Roberts. That one's turned from the middle all the way down, and it's going to be a foot race for it. Looks like Bolenze is going to win it, and Amarillo is going to have it. Offensive end, then John Burnt undercuts him and got the puck. Back out to center comes Tarasenko from his own blue line. Up ahead for Vinny DiUlio. Centering feed goes over Lopez Corsi's stick. Tremblay corrals it. He'll play it back into his own end. Cycles into the D zone. Owen Case for the left circle. Rifles it up for DiUlio. Just barely staying on side of the bug. Centering feed for Willie. That goes wide of his stick. Lopez Corsi gets it back for Tremblay. Centering feed right out in front. DiUlio had a chance at it. That one's turned aside. It comes back out to center. Remy tracks it down. 9:29 to go in this crazy second period all across the South Division.
Oh, really?
Wilson up to the blue line. Gains the zone. Remy corrals it. Walks down the slot. Fires one. Saved by Reckstrom. He just dove onto his belly and somehow made a stop. Meaning of the minds behind the play. We get the horn. That means immediate timeout. 9:17 left to go. The Bugs need a breather, and so do we up here. With 9:17 left in the second, it's 2-1. Shreveport on top on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
The Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata and Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case, or visit them online at defatapi.com.
Hey, this is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action. Claws up.
Well, if last night's game put you to sleep, this one sure won't. 9:17 left in the second. 2-1 our score. Mudbugs Hockey, as always, is brought to you by our friends at Coors Light. Made to chill. Crazy second period here and across the division. If you're sitting at home thinking, you know what, I'm really bored right now because I'm stuck at home. I'm listening to an exciting game. I want to be a part of the action. Well, lucky you. The Bugs are back at home next weekend at George's Pond.
Absolutely, Zach, and a great way to get tickets and also save some money. Family 4-pack for both Friday night and Saturday night's games. Friday night, $44 gets you 4 tickets, 4 bags of popcorn, and 4 post-game skate passes, as well as the entrance to the Word of God Ministries concert. Again, brought to you by our friends at Word of God Ministries. That's part of our God and Goals night. And, of course, if you use the code FAMILY when purchasing tickets at tickets.georgespond34, that gets you that. Now, on Saturday night, same deal, $44, 4 tickets, 4 popcorn bags, and 4 post-game skate passes. Again, $44, code FAMILY, tickets.georgespond34.com. But if you need tickets, even more tickets, that's fine too. Call us 318-636-7094 to get more tickets there. So
the Wranglers held a 1-0 lead coming into the period. And now here comes Amarillo down the slot looking for a play. Toe drag doesn't work. He lost the puck. That was Hegarty. Back up to the blue line, turns and fires one wide of the net. Wilson picks it back up. Bugs then scored 2 goals that were 12 seconds apart in the opening 30 seconds of the period to take the current 2-1 lead they have. And there's been a lot of chances both ways since then. The Bugs had a good 6 or 8 shots. Here's a centering feed right out in front. Another well set up play and a great save by Rexstrom. My goodness. Wexstrom's a one-man wrecking crew out there because he's keeping Amarillo in the game right now. The Bugs have the upper hand.
Yeah, he's keeping, like we mentioned, God, the voice crack, fun. Anyways, he's keeping the Wranglers in this game. But what I really want to talk about is that opportunity from Joe Semengo, or rather Charlie Birchfield over to Joe Semengo. Good setup between those two. So
Rexstrom, he's been a solid goaltender as Gerhard fires one wide. Rexstrom came into last night 2.63 goals against, 927 save percentage. And his performance has been kind of outshined by, or rather out storylined by the lack of success Amarillo has had this year. But pretty solid netminder down there to our right. As the Bugs play it back and forth, Adams at the circles. Spins around, nice ankle breaker there on his D-man, but eventually loses the puck at center. Thornton touches it back into the zone. Amarillo will settle it down, flipped up the wall for Gentler, all the way down. Adams going to win the foot race to it. He goes below his goal line and backhands it and leaves it off for Mitchell Reed. He leaves it off for Hoagland, who fires it up the far wing. And over the line come the Bugs quickly. Gerhard bats it down to his stick, tries to play it. High stick is washed out. Good battle going on between Earhart and Poe away from the play. So it gets flipped in. Bugs have to tag up. Poe tracks down the loose puck in the corner, flips it up the wall. They stay onside. Icing also waved off as Remy will send it around the boards for Roberts. Roberts had it knocked away from him, eventually controlled by Evan Hoagland. He'll flip it high up into the air, not enough to get down the Raptors. At center ice it comes over, and Roberts with half his stride ahead of the puck. So that offside whistle, and Wolf Talby and Landon Poe are going to stare each other down as the linesmen step in quickly. As they are chatting away there, as a little brouhaha almost unfolded with 7:28 to go in the second.
yeah, sometimes words are just as dangerous as a knife. I believe there was a famous adverb said about that. Am I correct? The pen is mightier than the. Now, granted, that's about literary writing, but I'm sure it can also be applied to words that words thrown each other in a hockey game in Amarillo, Texas in 2026.
Hey, some of the proverbs, you know, they stay true.
Yep.
Stand the test of time as Wolf Talby pitches it forward into the offensive end. Tied off the puck that time by Kuritai. Back out to center it comes. And here comes Gentler, tries to move around a couple of players, but eventually rubbed off the puck, and Jeremiah Roberts picks it back up. Flips up the far boards to the Amarillo blue line, goes off a bug into the zone. So a non-dump in becomes a dump in, and now behind the play, Roberts gets spun down to the ice. Bugs control, back into D zone, off to our left. Moving left to right in his frame, Wolf Talby, stolen away at center. 6:52 and rolling here in the second period. Bugs up 2-1 in what's been a wild second period, back and forth. Again, as I mentioned early or late in that first, as it's just barely brought in onside, things kind of got sloppy there. It looked a little bit more like last night, but on this second period, they decided that was enough of that. Amarillo controls, big drive for the right point. That's blockered aside by Hodges. Played back out to center. Sakriski had it for a moment. Now leaves it off for Jeremiah Roberts. Backhands for Sakriski. Can't corral it as it goes into the left corner. Offensive end for the Bucks. Sakriski slides it back up to the blue line for Burt. Burt for Chase. Got a touch on it. Goes into the corner. Kuritai will send it deep for Amarillo. Burt will try to pinch and hold in, but it comes back out to center. And Wilson will track it down on the edge of the center circle that time. Flipped up the wall again, brought in by Griner. Onside, into the corner, lost the puck, goes below the goal line, wrapped around the boards for O'Rourke. Leaves it off for Resega. Resega at the hash marks, turns and fires it out to center ice. Kuritai leaves it off for Bennett. Bennett will backhand it into the zone, but Zach Wilson's going to win the footer race. He'll wrap it around the kick plate. Bugs got to go. Left side, Julio was unable to stay on side. They had to tag up. Gets a touch on it eventually, but it's brought in by Azadi. Centering feed, Resega down the slot. Hodges out of his crease, way out of his crease to play to the right side. Got to stop. The aggressive goaltending continues, and it's working. Resega, right corner, leaves it off for Hegarty. Slides it around the boards. Eventually picked up by the Bugs. D-zone, near side, flipped up ahead. Stick down at the blue line. Vinny fighting for it, but eventually it's going to be brought back the other way by the Wranglers again. In over the line, right side. Down the slot, looking for the trailer Resega. I couldn't get it to him as Hodges got a piece of it. Sent it over the wall. Delayed call upcoming as a couple of players go down. And we'll see if the whistle's on Resega or not. With 5:08 as another meeting of the minds as Remy's in there in defense of his teammate. Koval skates in. He was mixing it up with a couple of Bugs early, and we await the signal from the referee as he's got his watchful eye over the little congregation going on here down to our left, and looks like Resega's going to go to the box, and we'll see what the call is. So the Bugs are going to go back to the power play, and well, Duncan, the last power play didn't get him a goal, but it got him a whole barrage of chances.
It absolutely did. The effort was there from the power play, and again, that was one of the things I wanted to really bring up. The power play needs to be a part of that turning of the pace of the game. So, of course, Daniel Resega will get in there. And as we await the signal, and actually the referees are getting down there at the scorer's table, we're going to find out what happens there.
I don't know. It's a meeting of the minds now with the stripes. It didn't. I mean, it was a takedown, but it didn't look anything malicious beyond like a minor penalty. But we'll see here. They're obviously discussing an upgrade of some sort. That would be my guess as to the discussion. So 5:08 left. A little bit of a lull here. We'll see what the call is eventually. Remy Pusateri and Mason Lupo will get an explanation from Mark Borak, the referee. We'll see what goes on the board. Looks like just 2 minutes on Resega. That's what I saw as well. Shots 19-19, by the way. It's been a crazy, so a holding call coming up on Resega here. So it's 2 minutes. It's not 10 yards like in football. Football season is over. The Indiana Hoosiers have already won the national championship, and the Super Bowl is finally over because the NFL season is also way too long, but that is another story for another time. Maybe on our Fireplace Specialties Coaches Show we can talk a little bit more about that. And now Brett Smith getting an explanation from the referee. I really don't know what the long discussion has been about here.
I think they just want an explanation. And by the way, that's for the football season being like me, you find ways to watch football, the UFL, but that's for a different discussion, different day as the Bugs go to the Scott Powerline power play. Liam Wolf-Talby's going to take this face off. Again, you just want to continue taking the pace of the game away from these Wranglers as Wolfie gets thrown out and Joe Semengo will step on in.
Joe Semengo coming from Pennsylvania. Big drive off the face-off, covered up. So Semengo again comes from Pennsylvania. Played a lot of games there in Philly, and actually my previous broadcast boss, Louis DiPaolo, listening back in Florida, he actually is from Philly as well, and he knows some people that played with Joe Semengo, including the Bruno family back at FAU for Florida Atlantic. So kind of a cool connection there for Joe Semengo. Hockey is a pretty small world once you get into it as you start to climb the ladder. At the blue line, it's controlled by the Bugs. Offensive end, Semengo centering feed for Wolf Talby. Slides it off to his right for Earhart, who fires one at point-blank range. Reckstrom got a stop. Back up top for Adams. Adams chips it around the boards, comes near side. Earhart races after it, and it hit him and went up into play. So that'll be a stoppage with 4:40. That took another weird hop, and Wolf Talby having a discussion with the referee as well. So it looked like it hit him in the helmet, Earhart.
Yeah.
He grabbed his head for a moment. We were a little bit worried after what we saw last night with Jonah Jasser, and then the puck ended up 200 feet the other way down the ice.
I'm not gonna lie, even I don't explain that. It's just one of hockey's mysteries. How can a puck go up in the air and it seemingly looks like it's gonna stay there, but then just end up, 200 something feet?
Yeah. Now the referee and the linesman are talking about it, because if it went off of Earhart, it should come out to neutral.
Yeah.
So that's what the discussion's about now. It's the second discussion in just about as many minutes here. Want to get the face-off spot right. Face-offs can be important, although it's interesting, Duncan, is that in a moment. Corpus Christi, by the way, finally knocked off Odessa 6-5, so the Jackalopes' comeback effort does not pay off. They came all the way back, overcame a 2-goal deficit in about a 3-minute span, and now Smitty's going to get an explanation from the referee. The face-off does come back out to center, but it's interesting. We always talk about face-offs, face-offs, face-offs. Every coach will talk about it. Every analyst will talk about it. If you watch NHL Network, they talk about it. But there's been multiple studies done over the years that show that face-offs actually don't correlate to anything record-wise.
That's not gonna lie, that's interesting. That does seem a little interesting. Like how, to the average hockey fan, is now Michael Hill gets an explanation as well as Lucas Stern, their assistant coach. But no, it's interesting to me how that study can. Well, I'm not gonna say be possible, but I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
I mean, I agree with you. I read that. I'm like, huh? Everybody always talks about face-offs. So Adams wins this one, by the way, as Hoagland will play it into the zone, but it's dumped out by Amarillo. And with all that stoppage, we almost forgot we were on a power play with 1:20 here. Yep. So the Bugs are skating 5-on-4, dropped off for Liam Wolf-Talby at the circles in the defensive end. Earhart shovels it back for Wolf-Talby. Liam will settle it below the goal line. 4:15 left in the second. Minute and 6 seconds to go on the Bugs power play. Adams spins and drops it off for Hoagland. Brought up the middle of the ice. Here's Semengo with a drive from the top of the right circle. Takes a weird off the boards, goes off the back of the net. Earhart fights for it. Got it into skates. Back up top, Semengo. Cycles to the blue line again. Left side for Adams. Adams works, backpedals to the blue line. Now for Hoagland. Left hash marks. Evan looking for a play. Centering feet, try to hit Semengo. Adams jumps in front of the puck, so it doesn't go all the way down, but it does come back out to center. Now dumped in by Earhart through traffic. Doing the dirty work, trying to get that puck down to an A. He corrals it in the corner. Feeds it back up top for Burnt. Burnt around a couple of defenders. Delayed call up coming against Amarillo. A shot there, and I thought it looked like it snuck in there for a second, but we're going to get a penalty, and now a Bug gets taken down away from the play as Semengo gets pushed down from behind. It was going to be a 5-on-3 for the Bugs anyway. We'll see if anything additional comes, as we had a call during the play. I didn't see the signal because I was watching. I think that was Semengo get cross-checked there. So it looks like just one penalty, but that's going to make it a 5-on-3 for 24 seconds anyway.
And so the Scott Powerline power play unit will stay out on the ice, especially for the next good while. I'll just put it like that. My brain doesn't want to brain. We're all tired. So,
it's a high sticking call coming up on Amarillo. It's going to go against Tiernan O'Rourke. He's the guilty party. So 5-on-4 for 24 seconds for the Bugs. That would be a heck of a way to keep flipping this game momentum-wise.
Absolutely.
All righty, here we go. Offensive zone draw. Grinder's going to be in to take it left side. Goes back to the wall for John Burnt. At the blue line, slides across for Gerhard, snaps it back for Johnny Burnt. Those two play catch back and forth. Gerhard has it top of the right circle. into the slot. One-time blast for Burnt. That's turned aside. Case tracks down a loose puck at the bottom of the right circle. Up top for Gerhardt. High slot. His shot turned aside again. Roberts tried to feed it to the middle, but it goes all the way down. That'll kill off the 5-on-3 as Rasega comes out of the box. So a minute 33 now of 5-on-4 hockey. Assuming nothing else crazy happened with 3 minutes to go in the second. Rifled off the boards, goes right onto the linesman, helps the Bugs because it doesn't go all the way down. Instead, Owen Case into the zone quickly. Right side gets spun down to the ice as he feeds it across for Burnt. That's poked away. Now Rasega is going to have an odd man rush. Rasega drops it off to the trailer. Big drive, rebound, shot, they score, and it's tied at 2 as Bull and Jay send a shot, and Kuritai comes down the slot to follow it up, and it's 2-2 with 2:41 to go in the second. It's a shorthanded goal to tie it up for Amarillo.
Yeah, the shorthanded effort there from Kuritai ties this things up. It's not what we need, Zach. Not what we need, Zach. Plain and simple, but
no, a 5-on-3 turns into a shorthanded goal. So Rasega gets an assist for their leading scorer. That's now 28 assists on a year for him. Boulanger gets his 12th. And the goal again going to Kuritai, just his second of the season. And it came at a big time for the Wranglers as they fight their way back into it 2-2. So the Bugs were down a goal before. Got 2 straight. Amarillo has now tied it, so just got to keep things from spiraling here. At 2:41 to go in the second.
Yeah, so on that Kuritai goal, Zach, it'll be Boulanger and Rasega. So that'll be, as the weird Ring of Fire mix once plays again. I'm not going to musically complain because I think we've done enough of that for multiple lifetimes. But yeah, so both teams will go over and give their goalies praise and some words of encouragement on the other side of things for Tyler Hodges.
I never thought I'd hear a Ring of Fire played by a mariachi band. That's what it sounds like. It's an interesting, very Texas. Very Texas.
Oh, yeah, no, especially in Texas. That would shock me is come back to neutral zone, Evan Hoagland on the faceoff.
So the good news is, although Amarillo tied it up, the Bugs are still in the power play. Another minute, 5 seconds on the man advantage. We're tied at 2, though, with 2.5 to go in the second. Bugs will break it out of the zone, moving left to right. Adams off to his right. Up the near side, carves through the middle. Logo drops it off for Hoagland. Hoagland chipped away from him at the blue line and corralled by Adams again. A work back all the way into his own zone, right in front of his goaltender. Leaves it for Duke Earhart. Up across for Semengo. In over the line, right side. Joe with speed down the bottom of the circle. Sent one towards the net. Rebound. Cleared out in front by Duke in the corner. Duke cycles it up top for Adams. Toes the blue line. High slot. Left circle for Hoagland, who tried the one-time drive. That one goes off the edge of his stick. Evan gets it back. Liam Wolf-Talby works it free into open ice. Slides it back up top for Adams. 20 seconds to go on the power play. Adams up top for Earhart. Earhart right circle. Drive. Stop there. Azadi gets it, and he fires it all the way down 200 feet.
Yeah, this penalty kill, the Amarillo Wranglers, a lot more aggressive than you'll see with some teams. And it just, and don't get me wrong, aggressive penalty kills are definitely helpful as the penalty to O'Rourke expires. And so, but.
Well, you know, when you're aggressive on the penalty kill, is Hoagland quickly in over the line. Centering feed there for Birchfield. Couldn't corral it. And it goes back the other way. Picked up by Fair that time at the blue line. Goes through Hoagland's skate. Picked back up by Birchfield, who fires it off the glass. But again, an aggressive penalty kill. It gets you some stuff, but it also leaves the back door open. That's big reason why their penalty kill sits 31st in the North American Hockey League. Left side, played by Barrett. He takes a check from Boulanger, and it goes all the way back down. Owen Case tracks it down. Final minute of the second period. We're tied at 2. It's a 3-goal second period thus far. 2 goals for the Bugs, 1 goal for Amarillo. That tied it up. Barrett brings it in just barely onside, down the slot, lost the puck. I think he thought the Bugs were offside, so he played it back to the middle as Wilson will rifle it in now as a man goes off for a change. Back below the goal line it's played. Fired all the way up. Icing, yes. As Wilson wins the race with 31 and a half tick to the clock left here in the second.
So, and as always, Zach, as a reminder, all icings this season are brought to you by friends at Louders Baking Company. Again, that's Louders Baking Company.
I'd like to remind you that Fireplace Specialties, proud corporate partner of your Mudbugs, fireplaces, gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantles, and grills, they've got it all. Located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport, or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties, your fireplace headquarters. 31 seconds left. Puck is down in the offensive end. Griner will battle for that puck. He's still going after it as it's tied up in his skates. Bounces free for Vinny. Diulio works back towards the blue line. Now sent it down low into the corner. Over Wolf Talby's stick. Over the referee now. It's Vinny. Cuts down the slot. Centering feed for Griner on the doorstep. He lost his, or goaltender lost his stick. And Griner just tried to kick it in the net. Back the other way, Fair down the left wing. His shot goes off a bug. Flipped up in the air. Big hit delivered. That's going to be a penalty called coming up. Wolf Talby steps in defense of Remy, and Pusateri is not happy. He's yelling at the referee. Wolf Talby still mixing it up there with a couple of Wranglers. And again, a big hit right at the puck. The period, according to the clock, came to an end. We'll see if they put time back on. That whistle came well before the clock stopped. And being held back there is a bug in the corner. That's Liam Wolf Talby as he's being escorted off to the dressing room. So I guess that will be an end to the second period, but we'll see how everything shakes out here. The Wranglers hanging out by their bench. The Bugs start to file out onto the ice. But big hit by Remy Pusateri. It's going to be called a penalty. We'll see what the call is. And the referee looks like he might put time back on the clock. He just told both teams to go back to the benches. I was going to say that whistle came well before they stopped the clock here. At least 3 to 4 seconds on the clock. And the referee says, yeah, it's going to make him go back. So the period is not over, so we're not going to get to go to the Sonic Drive-In second intermission report quite yet. We're going to have to wait in suspense. And, of course, this is the unfortunate part of kind of the timing rules because you're going to have this long delay as they get the teams back on the bench for about a second, which, of course, as we both know, you're going to drop the puck and it's over. But you got to play every second. So, unfortunately, that's the way things go. So, we'll see. They have not put time back on the clock. Remy's penalty is up on the board. It's 2 minutes. We're tied at 2 late in the second. We'll see how much time they do put on the clock. So, holding call for Remy. And so they do put 2 seconds on. So, just got to cover the face-off.
Yep. No, absolutely. And just got to take this 2 seconds, hold it, like we mentioned, and just build on this first choice personnel penalty kill, Zach, as we go into the third period. So we'll see how we lay.
Or the best thing to do here, the Bugs like to do it anyway on face-offs, is just fall on top of the puck.
Yeah.
Jump the face-off and fall on top of it. Vinny in to take the D-zone draw. That's what he does. He jumps off the draw. Quick try for Hegarty at the buzzer. Woo-hoo. That was close,
yeah.
But we stay 2-2. My, oh my, he jumped the draw, but somehow Amarillo still got the puck in open ice. He had a great scoring chance there. And now Mitchell Reed is going after Bennett. Bennett sends a cross-check his way after time expires, and Reed will just wave away at him as he goes off to the locker room. And, well, again, we talked about earlier, Mitchell not one to shy away from any kind of physicality as the Bugs and Wranglers after a quiet Friday night. Well, it's not quiet in here tonight. The fireworks are going off like it's the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah. So we'll have to see if anything, I don't think it will, but we'll have to see if anything comes out of that little shove there delivered to Mitchell Reed. Like I said, I don't think it will, but who knows? Weirder things have happened, Zach.
So 2-2 the score. Bugs out shooting the Wranglers 28-22. That's what. And now the shots just went down to 26-20. Say that? The broadcaster's jinx, I guess. I don't. So 2 periods in the books. 2-2 the score. It was 1-0 Amarillo after the first. Bugs get 2 goals in the opening 40 seconds of the period, both 12 seconds apart, to make it 2-1. Amarillo gets one back shorthanded, and well, right back where we started, Duncan, all knotted up.
Yes, we are. Of course, it's still a goaltending game, though, as was last night. Tyler Hodges on his front, stopping 19 of 21, and then I almost lost my name there. Casimir Ekstrom stopping 24 of 26, or at least that's what it says right now, 24-26. But nonetheless, though, Zach, still a goaltending game, but it's also a defensive game. It seems to be a goaltending and defense. These 2 games seems to be that, a goaltending and a defense. Especially after last week, the defensive core needed to step up, and well, they've done that so far, but we'll see when we come back on the other side, Zach.
Alrighty, yes, as a reminder, we're back at home next weekend. If you're playing a group outing, ask about Group H for future home games. Group of 10 or more get tickets for just $10 each. Call 318-636-7094 to book your group today. Take a quick timeout on the other side. It's the Sonic Drive-In second intermission report. We're knotted up at 2 after 2 here in Amarillo.
Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata and Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case or visit them online at defatapi.com. Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker. Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of yours, Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
Are you looking for the perfect place to host your next event? Whether it's a birthday party, corporate get-together, school trip, or any private celebration, George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum has you covered. From ice-level excitement to unforgettable memories, your group will have an experience like never before. Start planning your next event today. Call 318-636-7094 to book your private outing at George's Pond.
This is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Alrighty, back here in Amarillo, Texas, Budweiser Bullpen. We're tied at 2 after 2 periods of play. A 3-goal second period, 2 goals for the Bugs, 1 for the Wranglers. And as the second intermission report starts here, presented by our friends at Sonic Drive-In, this is how you Sonic. We'll take a step out now and listen to our good friend Duncan Welker sitting down with the most talked about player on tonight's broadcast, Joe Semengo.
Welcome back into the Sonic Drive-In second intermission show, delivered to you by our friends at the Sonic Drive-In. Sonic Drive-In, this is how we Sonic. Now joining me is Mudbugs goaltender number 31, Tyler Hodges. Hodgie, welcome back in.
Thank you.
Of course, and as we do this interview, we're surrounded by the sewer ball action, and you love to see that. But Tyler, more importantly, last night another shutout. So Hodgie, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, the boys played great. It was a great game all around. They played great in the D zone. Made it easy for me to, make the stops I had to.
Absolutely. You made a couple of big important ones. And now this is where kind of I sound a little critical. Couldn't think of the word. I got it. I'll admit the game was a little slower paced than I expected, especially in the first few minutes. But you know what I think. Haji, what was your perspective on the pace of the game?
Yeah, in the first, I think we came out pretty strong. We kind of took it to them in the first period. Second and third, it kind of balanced out. But, we played to our systems and we capitalized on our chances.
Absolutely. And with Coach Jason Super Campbell serving a 2-game suspension, of course, that led to the bench boss debut of Brett Smith. What was your perspective on Smitty being behind the boss? For this next game and from last night.
Yeah, I think he's stepped bench. I know he had some great intermission talks, so it was all good, yeah.
And speaking of those talks from Brett Smith, what was the word, especially coming out of that 3-0 win in the locker room?
It's important to get the job done Friday night, but now we got to turn around and do it again tonight. So 1 game a weekend isn't good enough. We need to start stacking these wins together.
Absolutely, especially as we go into these next few weeks and possibly into that last playoff spot. But, Haji, I'm going to move away from the hockey side of things, at least for now. What's going on in the world of Tyler Hodges?
Not much. No, not much going on. Just going to the rink every day, doing what I love.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with that. It is Valentine's Day. You got anybody special you want to shout out?
Yeah, I got a girlfriend back at home. She's actually coming out tomorrow, so looking forward to that. That'll be awesome.
Good. Will she be with us for the next 2 home games?
Yeah, she'll be here for the next 2 weeks, so she'll see some games.
Excellent. You love to see that. You love to see that, Haji. And speaking of holidays, of course, the Mardi Gras season is winding down. And Haji, have you gotten a chance to celebrate in any sort of way, with king cake or any sort of traditions that possibly, you've been a part of, or even your billet family has been a part of?
Yeah, I got to try some king cake for the first time. It was pretty good. And then my little billet brother, he went Mardi Gras and brought home some screaming chickens, so I've been listening to those lately. But yeah.
The screaming chickens. The Mardi Gras vendors at the parades, those are always fun. And you mentioned king cake. I was talking with Duke Earhart last intermission, and he said it's, in his words, it's a little overhyped, it's a bit dust. You wanna challenge him on that?
I mean, it's pretty like cinnamony, and I like cinnamon, so I like it. It might not be for everybody, but it's good to me.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, let me ask you something else. Have you found the baby? The baby inside the king cake?
No.
Oh, you don't know about that, do you?
No.
Okay, well, that is a conversation you need to have with the billets back at home, but nah. Haji, so something else I want to ask you. Hi. It escaped me for the moment. I'm sure it'll come back. But what I do want to ask you, Haji, is what's your personal game plan for tonight against these Amarillo Wranglers?
Come out and do what I do. Make the saves I have to. Track plays. And that's it.
Absolutely. And on the other side of things, for the Amarillo Wranglers last night, their goaltender stopped obviously fewer shots than you did, of course. Their goaltender did pretty good. What's your thoughts on him from the other side of the 200 feet?
Yeah, he's a big goalie. He moves around well. He's good, but I think he's definitely beatable, and we can find our ways to capitalize.
Absolutely. Now, Haji, I'm going to ask you 2 more things. I'm going to let you get going. Firstly, what's the music playlist look like for you, either on the way in here or just on a general day?
I've got these SoundCloud remixes that I go to every game, so I keep it consistent.
SoundCloud remixes, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. I was about to say, what are you, 29? No, I'm kidding. No, they were big when I was in high school, which, it's funny, I'm only 23, but it feels like forever ago. But I'm not going to get into my old age. Anyways, Haji, I feel like I've asked you this before, but what's the pregame meal also look like for you?
Well, when we're on the road, we go to Chipper a lot, so, good Chipper bowl.
What's the Tyler Hodges meal look like?
I actually bowl, so switch it up. Normally I'm chicken, but steak this week.
Okay, steak bowl. You know what? And as the fun sewer bowl progresses here and outside of the Amarillo Civic Center complex, Haji, you got a question. What's your sewer ball record?
Terrible.
If you've played it.
Terrible. Not my game, but
not your game.
I go out and try. But
okay, nothing wrong. Have you won? I'm about to say, have you won any?
No.
Really? You've never won a game of sewer?
No.
Well, Haji, I got one last thing for you, and I'm going to let you get going. So as we wind down the season, and obviously we hope to get a little further, obviously, after the season, what's the plans for Tyler Hodges?
Just go enjoy summer before going into school next year, wherever that is. So, yeah.
Going back to Gormley, Ontario?
Yes.
Well, Tyler, thank you for joining us here on the Sonic Drive-In Segment Show. It's always good to talk to you, and good luck tonight, buddy.
Thank you.
Of course. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with more after these messages here on the Sonic Drive-In Second and Mid Show. You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and the Mudbugs Broadcast Network. Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker. Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of yours. Doors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter. It has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be. Fireplace Specialties is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantle and grills, they've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Hey, Mudbug fans, if you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or any other private outing, just call us at George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum at 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Once again, that's 318-636-7094 here at George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum.
This is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
2-2 the score after 2 here in Amarillo, Texas at the Budweiser Bullpen. Here as the Sonic Drive-In second intermission show rolls on. Again, Bugs closing out the road trip tonight. And they will be back at home for the next 3 weeks after this. The long-awaited return of the prodigal sons of Shreveport. Going back to George's Pond. Again, a couple of big games, especially as we look at the standings. And Odessa, after their loss today, will stay just a point behind the Bugs, pending the outcome of this game. They will be in Shreveport next week to take on the Bugs. Friday, Friday night, God and Goals night, presented by Word of God Ministries. And Saturday night, Paws and Claws night. Get your tickets today by plugging on to tickets.georgespond34.com. And as always, if you have groups of 10 or more, you can get tickets for just $10 each. Call the front office, 318-636-7094. Ask to speak to Sabrina or Lauren. They'll get you taken care of with your group rate. There's also some great deals. Head on to our Facebook page for more information on the family 4-pack for both games, so we can get out and enjoy some Mudbugs action back at home for the first time in a month and a half. Our last home game, believe it or not, January 3rd against New Mexico. That weekend sweep as the Bugs look to get their first weekend sweep since then here tonight, but it's tied at 2 after 2 periods of play. After that, the Bugs have a trio of games the following weekend. They welcome the Corpus Christi Ice Rays into town Friday, Saturday. That's the 27th and 28th of February. And then the calendar flips to March on that Sunday, a 5 p.m. matinee against the Lone Star Brahmas. They're going to have a tough weekend. They're going to play in Oklahoma and then make the trip and play the Bugs on Sunday. That'll be a huge game as the Bugs look to, again, further cement that playoff spot. They currently sit in 6th place in that final spot. And Oklahoma, with their loss, they're ahead of the Bugs. They give the Bugs a chance to kind of start jumping some. Even Amarillo, we've been talking about them being the bottom of the league for most of the season, but they're only a few points down. They get on a couple of game winning streak, and they're back in the playoff conversation as well. So every game matters. This one's been exciting. It's 2-2 after 2. Now let's take a look at our out-of-town scoreboard, by the way. A couple of big games there as well. A couple of games have already gone final in the North American Hockey League South Division, and some of those games have really big implications. A crazy game. It was 5-3 Corpus Christi in the third period with 9 minutes to go. Odessa clawed their way back, tied it up at 5, and then Corpus Christi got the final laugh as they scored a goal to make it 6-5 and take the victory in regulation. So Odessa does not earn any points tonight. That is huge for the Bugs because Odessa made it to the shootout last night, which gave them a chance. It was a 3-goal third period for Odessa. They came up late as, again, Corpus Christi got the 11th goal of the game, the final tally to break a streak of 3 straight. That game with 2 minutes left off of Nick Sinani. He continues his hot streak for the Ice Rays. Elsewhere in the South Division, El Paso had a lead against Oklahoma, and they are just continuing to dominate. They're up 6-1. It was a 6-goal first period. They're midway through the second there, and El Paso again up 6-1, out-shooting Oklahoma 21-11. Oklahoma got the first goal and then 6 unanswered, and we all know how the El Paso offense can really get things going. Kaiser's got 2 goals. Platoonie's got 2. Cosimo has a goal as well. So that's a big game because, again, Oklahoma, if they fall, gives the Bugs a chance to claw their way back ahead of Oklahoma. They're just separated by a few points. We'll take one final timeout on the Sonic Drive-In second intermission show. On the other side, it's third period action. We're tied at 2 after 2 here in Amarillo as the Bugs look to get the weekend sweep against the Wranglers. They've got some work to do, tied at 2 on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata & Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata & Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case or visit them online at defatapi.com. Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker. Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of yours, Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
Hey fan, this is William Alexis Tremblay, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Walker. Now let's get back to the action. Let's go, Bugs.
Alrighty, back here in Amarillo, getting set for the third and final 20 minutes of the hockey game in regulation as the Mudbugs again trying to win their second straight game after their 3-0 victory last night. It was 1-0 Amarillo after the first period. The Bugs had something to say about that early in the second. It was 2 goals in the opening 40 seconds of the game. They were 12 seconds apart. Ryan Barrett got the first one, and that was followed up, again, just 12 seconds later to make it 2-1 Bugs. Amarillo got one back late in the middle frame there to tie it up at 2, and that's where we stand right now. It's still anybody's ball game thus far tonight. It's been, again, a welcome departure from last night. Last night was definitely not the most exciting game out there. Bugs got the victory, but tonight it's been back and forth. It's anyone's game still as the final 20 minutes are back up on the clock. Remy Pusateri got a penalty at the end of the period with just 2 seconds left, so the Bugs will be shorthanded for the first minute and 58 seconds of this third period. Again, Barrett, Earhart, the goal scorers for the Bugs. Boulanger and Kuritai, the goal scorers for Amarillo. Here we go, third period action about to get set. The teams have switched sides. The Bugs skate right to left. They control the opening faceoff. It goes immediately back to Tyler Hodges, who will smartly cover up and just hang on for a whistle 5 seconds in. Again, Bugs short for another minute and 54 seconds. Shots 26-23 in favor of the Bugs. Good offensive effort thus far. 4 goals on the board, 2 for either side. Zazati wins the faceoff back to the blue line. Sent for a big drive for Resega, lifted it just over top the net. Vinny DiUlio tracks it down on the far wall. At the hash marks, he's tied up. Mitchell Reed comes in for some help, as does Liam Wolf-Talby. The 6-car pile up in the corner. It's eventually whacked free to the blue line. Resega waits for it near point. Feeds it back across the left side. Now below the goal line, controlled by O'Rourke. He tries to spin and fire it towards there. He's shoved off the puck. Hegarty gets it back far corner. Hegarty changes direction. DiUlio shoves him off against the board. Back up to the blue line. Resega's got it for the Wranglers. Right circle. Back to the left. Big drive from the blue line is turned aside. Great chance that time once more. Kuritai tries to backhand it across the blue line, but it comes out to center. Resega will ask to track it down at center. Minute and 9 seconds left in the kill for the Bugs. Then over the line for Sega. Down the slot, lost the puck. Goes into the corner where it's whacked at and cleared out by the Bugs. So in case got hit away from the play, but still able to clear the puck out. Now Azadi brings it back in. Wetzel down. That's going to be a penalty call upcoming on Duke Earhart. And the Bugs are going to be Short-handed 5-on-3 for 51 seconds, and this is not the start of the third and final frame they wanted. So Earhart will sit. We'll see what the call is. Holding the call from the referee, Mark Bork. So now it's 5-on-3 for 51 seconds. It's a big one here for the Bugs. Can't let this spiral out of control. Far side, it's going to be Gentler to take the offensive zone draw for Amarillo. And now it looks like the Wranglers are going to call timeout. So they're going to talk things over. 5-on-3 upcoming. We'll take the timeout with them. 18:52 left in a tied third period. Back in a moment on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata and Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case or visit them online at defatapi.com.
Hey, this is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action. Claws up.
Porter's Industrial has been locally owned and operated for over 50 years, providing floor mats, uniforms, and facility services for your company. And as a reminder, the third period tonight brought to you, as always, by Delta Utilities. Know what's below? Call 811. Locate buried utilities at least 2 days before digging any 5-on-3 rather. The Bugs are going to have to kill it off with 51 seconds on a 5-on-3. Right in the slot, Rasega drives one, and stepping in front of it was Grinder to knock it away. Back up to the blue line. Kuritai holds it in at the right point. Kuritai down the slot, feeds it off to the left circle. Back up top for Kuritai, high slot. 36 seconds to go on the 5-on-3 kill for the Bugs. Here's Haggerty, down bottom of the right circle. High slot, Kuritai, one-time blast, stopped by Hodges. Backhanded by Griner, but not out of the zone. Second chance clear, still doesn't get it out, and now the Wranglers brought it out themselves for an offside whistle with 18:25 to go in the third. We're tied at 2. Again, 24 seconds on the 5-on-3, then a minute 33 remaining on the Earhart penalty. Faceoff comes out at center ice here. Again, the goal scorers for the Bugs, Earhart and Ryan Barrett. Barrett's second goal in as many games, and Duke Earhart again, his first goal since our series at El Paso just about a month ago. That was Earhart's 12th of the year. Duke back in the lineup, having a nice game today. Wrapped around the boards, offensive end, controlled by Rasega. Wraps it around the boards again, below the goal line. Adams can't fire it out. Back up top. High slot. Looking for a play. It's Kuritai back for Rasega. Feeds it off to the far side. Remy is out of the box. Goes off to the bench. Julio comes out. So it's now a 5-on-4 for minute 3. Rebound. Top shelf. They score. They set it up on the far doorstep. They beat Hodges stick side. And Amarillo has the lead for the second time tonight. It's 3-2 with 17:51 to go. Well set up that time, and waiting for it is Caden Haggerty. His 18th goal of the year, and it comes when the Wranglers needed it most. They take the lead 3-2. 17:51 to go, still plenty of time for the Bugs to get things going offensively. Shots are now even at 26 apiece. Nathan Phillips on the bench. We'll have a discussion with the referee right now. The Stars are being thrown out on the ice by the Wranglers fans here in attendance. Again, a better crowd on hand tonight at the Budweiser bullpen. Still not full by any means. There's still lots of empty seats spread throughout the arena, but a lot more sections have some bodies in them. The Bucks back at home next weekend. Finally back at home against the Odessa Jackalope. It's going to be 2 big games. Again, Odessa dropped their game in regulation after coming back against Corpus Christi, so that's why you'd really like to see the Bugs get at least 1 point, if not 2, but now they're going to have to come from behind. They trail for the second time. It's 3-2 as Remy will go talk to his netminder Hodges away from the play. And now that the Stars have been mostly collected, that means it's time for hockey again here with 17:51 left to go. Third period, 3-2, the Wranglers with the lead. The goal goes to Caden Haggerty. Again, his 18th of the season. Off the face-off, the Bugs control, and Remy moves his feet quickly and wraps it around the boards. Gerhardt picks it up on the near half wall. He wraps it back around to the far side for Earhart. Earhart slams out of brakes, looks, crashes toward the net, fires one off the side of the net. It's deflected up off the top of the glass. Burnt takes a check from Boulanger there. Burnt gets it back, lost it as the Bucks being shoved off against the wall. Can't get to the puck freely. Could have been interference. Nonetheless, brought back the other way, and over the line is Jetler. Down the slot. Jetler off to the left. Big drive there. Squeaks towards Hodges, who makes a stop for a whistle. Now Boulanger is going to get tied up in the slot once more after the whistle with 17-19 left to go in the third. Bugs again trailing by a goal. Now the recent goal for Amarillo. That's now 2 straight as they answer the Bugs, who had 2 unanswered early on in the second. There was 1 goal in the first for Amarillo. They took a 1-0 lead into the break. Bugs got 2 goals in the opening 42nd of the second. 12 seconds apart from Ryan Barrett. Then again followed up by Duke Earhart a few moments later. Amarillo had a late second period goal, and now that early third period goal to put them at their current 3-2 advantage with 17-10 left to go in the third period. Far side wall, Bugs control defensive end, started up. Tried to feed it for Birchfield, goes off the edge of his stick. He'll cover up, he gets pushed into the goalie, or near it into the goalie, and that'll bring also 17:03 ozone drop coming for the Bugs, and it'll be a crucial offensive zone draw here. I'd like to remind you the Fireplace Specialties, proud corporate partner of Mudbugs Hockey. Glass doors, wood stoves, mantles, and grills, they've got it all. Located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport, or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties, your fireplace headquarters. Face-off coming off to the left of the goaltender to the far side. And now it looks like the Amarillo center is going to get thrown out for the actions of his winger. So coming in to take it now is Ian Bohr, is the 5'11" forward. Against Birchfield. Birchfield wins it back to the blue line. Owen Case with a one-timer. Gets deflected on the way towards the net, goes over top the cage. Birchfield takes a check, flip back out to center. Zach Wilson corrals it. Now Owen Case will rifle it in, takes a hop off the Zamboni doors. The linesman says the Bugs were offsides. They'll tag up. Wranglers will control the puck. Back then it's Mason Lupo below the goal line, off the far side half wall, up ahead of the blue line, touched into the zone. Good foot race for it there. Thornton's going to win it for Amarillo, though, behind Hodges to the right. Tie up along the wall, picked up by Birchfield, the newcomer. Again, just his third game with the Bugs. Skates up the far wing, takes a check as he dumped it in across the blue line. Controlled by Landon Poe, back of the cage, a tall defenseman. Brings it in over the line, left side. Back of the cage again, picked up by Mitchell Reed. Will slap it around the boards, up for Wolf Talby. Wolf Talby through the center circle, now off to the right, in over the line, down the bottom of the right circle, harassed off the puck by Hedquist. It comes near side, Wranglers get it back, but a nice poke check by Sakrisky to steal it away, feeds it into the slot. Wolf Talby will slide it back up to the blue line. Here's Reed, left point, tees up a blast, and he pulled the trigger, but a great stop that time for Rexstrom. Hangs on for a whistle with 15:55 left to go in the third period with the Bugs trailing 3-2. Offensive zone draw upcoming here for the Bugs as Mitchell Reed talks to the referee now at center. Everyone the penalty call on that hit, but does not get one. The face-off coming up to Rexstrom's right. Offensive zone chase to Krisky in to take the draw. The youngest player on the team stands 5'6", 150, and that draw is won by Amarillo as the Wranglers started up far side, brought back near side for Izzati, and the outlet pass, and initially was ruled good, and then the linesman said icing, so that's what we get with 15:47. Again, Chase Sakrisky, he's played in 29 games now, and he's, interestingly enough, has played in every game since November 22nd, so he has become a really big staple in the Bugs lineup. He's got 14 points on the year, but for him, it's not up the scoring, it's about the production of the offensive chances he's got going on. Hoagland take the draw, offensive zone far side, 15:47 left in the third. Amarillo again controls that face-off D end and can't clear it out, though. Giving a away in front for Earhart. He gets knocked down at the far circle. Big hit there delivered, comes back out to center ice. Bugs pick it back up. It's Adams on his side of the red line. Will dump it around the board. Gerhardt gets the turnover. The goaltender out of his crease to play it. Hoagland turns and fires one. That comes off again, but we play on. Referee says it's good. 15:22 to go. Below the goal line, played far corner for Gerhardt. Cycles in and drops it off now for Adams. Adams sent one whistling through the air, through the crease. Reed Tried to center that one. That goes over to the far wall. Again, tracked down by Adams. Adams for Earhart. Slaps it towards the net. That one gets pushed aside. Remy off of the bench will come in to help. He wraps it around the board to the far corner. Picked up by Resega, who wins the race, and he'll flip it out of the zone, but not out as Earhart gloves it down to blue line. Bounces in the slot. Remy corrals the puck. Tried to feed it across for Earhart. It got tipped, and now it's going to be an odd man rush as the Bugs are on a change. Back to the way Amarillo. Centering feed. Boulanger. It got blocked in front. John Burnt sacrificed his leg as he stuck it out to knock the puck away. Back the other way. Hoagland will fire it down. 14 and a half to go. Third period. 3-2 the Wranglers with the lead. Back and forth we've got all game. Ferrer sticks it off to the left side. In over the line. Drop back for Ferrer, who one time drives it for the left circle. Back up top for McCorrister. Got a touch on it. Back of the cage. Picked up again by Ferrer. Ferrer pitchforks it back to the blue line. One-timer drive for the left point is turned aside. Rebound goes off the post. Bounces to the near wall where it's picked up by the Bugs. And it's skated up the near wing by Vinny DiUlio. Around one check, around a second. As the whistle comes for an offside violation with 14:08 to go here in the third. Mudbugs fans, if you're looking for the perfect place for your private event, corporate outing, birthday party, or just want to have some fun, George's Pond's got you covered. Call the office 318-636-7094 to reserve your spot for your event today. And the Bugs will be back at home next weekend to take on the Odessa Jackalopes. Going to be a big couple of games there as every point becomes a premium as we have under the 17 games to go mark. It's unbelievable that the season has flown by this fast, but nonetheless, we're almost to the end of the regular season here. Big hit there delivered as the Bug gets tossed into the bench by Dolan that time. The crowd loves that. Back on his feet is Owen Case. He'll come back out as Ryan Barrett will play it. Barrett back of the goal line, drops it off for Owen Case. He turns it over at the right circle, controlled by Bennett. Bennett overskates the puck, slams on the brakes, gets it back. Up top for Lupo. Lupo works to the blue line, chipped out by the Bugs. They'll go off for a change, but it's held in center by O'Rourke. Brought back in quickly by Amarillo. And then Birchfield will corral the loose puck. Birchfield in over the line, right side. Centering feed for Barrett. Barrett fires one. That got tipped, goes through the crease anyway. Rebound from Samango. Backhand one-time drive. Goes off the side of that. Back the other way. Dumped in by Boers. Wrapped around. Adams tracks it down. Leaves off in the corner. He takes a check. Gets it for Mitchell Reed. Reed gets slashed there. No call for the referee. Played up the wall by Wolf Talby. Wolf Talby at the right circle. Starts a breakout. Liam up the center of the ice. Through the middle logo. Now over the blue line. Fires it just over top the net. Takes a hop. Far side half wall. Picked up by Adams for a moment. Amarillo steals it right back. 12:40 to go in the third period. Cleared down by the Wranglers, and this will be an icing call. Bring the puck back 200 feet. Louder's Baking Company, proud corporate partner of your Mudbugs, and they will bring you the icings all season long, both on and off the ice. We'll go check out Louder's Baking Company to make some great pastries. So good that I can't even go there because I'll take care of the whole store if I do, so we don't want that. Want to say hi to Bugs Insider Matt Nelson listening back in Shreveport. Also want to say hi to Dalton Sharp joining along with us as well on our YouTube stream. And for the rest of you watching back at home on NATV, again, finally, next weekend, don't have to watch on NATV anymore. You can check out the Bugs in person at George's Pond. Friday night, 7-11 puck drop, and man, is that building going to be electric after a month and a half away as Robert will backhand it from the center red line to avoid the icing call. Rexstrom out of his net to play it, leaves it off for Landon Poe. And Poe gives it away, goes through the crease in front of the net. Azadi will corral the loose puck. He'll turn and burn and fire it up for Resega, who blew a tire, would have had an on-man rush. Now the Bugs poke it back into the offensive end. Flipped off the glass all the way down. Resega in a foot race with John Burnt. Burnt's going to win it. He'll turn and fire. Azadi will pinch along the boards and hold it in. Zakrisky tracks it back down, far corner. Centering feed right out in front. Azadi gets tripped up. That's going to be a penalty call upcoming. Losing the stick is Gerhard, and I don't think he likes the penalty call. He stands there in disbelief, staring down the referee from across the ice. But Grayson's got to sit for 2 for hooking. And with the Bugs down a goal, now they're going to have to kill off a penalty with 11:44 to go. And the penalty's hurting the Bugs here in this third and final frame. Gerhard is going to be the guilty party as he's ushered to the box. Hooking the call on Grayson, the 6'3", 205 Allen, Texas native. Fired from the Ice Rays. Earned South Player of the Week honors back after his 6-point weekend. 2 goals, 4 assists against New Mexico. But he's been a big scorer for the Bugs since joining from Corpus Christi. That's exactly what they wanted when in that trade for Parichka. Dulio wins the face-off, back below the goal line, rifled all the way down. So that'll kill off the first 10 seconds of the Gerhardt penalty. And Amarillo with a 1-goal lead with 11.5 to go will just hang out behind the net. Azadi gets knocked off stride there. Lost the puck, almost a giveaway in front. Dulio's got it, but couldn't get it to Wolf Talby. Dulio gets taken down. Bugs bench wants the penalty, not going to get one for the referee. We skate back the other way. Here's Lupo down the slot, knocked off the puck, but he flips it back up top for Kurtai. Kurtai's drive never got to the net, blocked in front, and the Bugs will clear as Julio heads off for a change, and Griner will come out on defense. Long outlet pass, just barely onside for Amarillo. Almost caught the Bugs on a change. Adams gets it, flips it along the kick plate, and that goes again all the way down the length of the ice. So halfway through the penalty kill. 10:52 to go in the third period. Amarillo up 3-2 over the Bugs. With almost too many men there, as Bollinger will pick up the puck at his own blue line. Changes direction around Griner. Comes near side for O'Rourke. O'Rourke drops it back at the circles. Brought up the ice by Hedquist, rather. Hedquist near side for Farrer. Farrer works up to the blue line, tried to feed it across for Hedquist. He corrals it on the second effort. Now wraps it around the boards, comes near side over the stick of Gentler. Gentler flips it up the wall. Bucks try to clear. They can't as Earhart fired it off of Farrer. Now it's corralled by Reed, and he will slap it down the length of the ice with 30 seconds to go on the kill for the Bugs. On the change, quickly brought it ahead by Boulanger. Back of the net, it's controlled by Remy Pusateri. He turns and burns, and it goes again all the way down. Midway through the third period, Bugs trail by a goal. 15 seconds left on the kill for the Bugs. Almost a giveaway by Amarillo at their own blue line. Brought in by Hedquist, onside, far side. Down below the goal line, centering feed that time. Hedquist got it again. Near corner, cycles up to the blue line, looking for McCorrister. Now snapping across the left point. Centering feed, another successful kill. Birchfield off the bench with the man out of the box. He comes down and Sakrisky blows a tire in the same spot that the Wrangler did a few moments ago. So maybe some issues with the ice over there on the far wall. Would have been an odd man rush, but nonetheless, now Amarillo comes in as Lupo's got it in the corner, wraps it around the boards. Offensive end, Semengo will track it down, far side. Here come the Bugs again on the attack, right to left. Brought in, goes off of the boards and on net. So the goaltender will pounce on top of it, and with 9:17 left, that'll bring us to our immediate timeout here in this third period. Bugs down by a goal. They're fighting an offensive zone face-off on the other side on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Hey Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata and Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case or visit them online at defatapi.com.
Hey, this is Tyler Hodges, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action.
That was Tyler Hodges. He's going to be the man of the hour here with 9:17 left in the third. 3-2 the score in favor of Amarillo. Hodges keeping the Bugs in the game right now. They've had some offensive chances, but now just got to turn it into goals. They got an offensive zone draw coming up. We'd like to remind you that Mudbugs Hockey is always brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill, and by Buffalo Wild Wings, Wings, Beers, Sports. So far side, off to netminders left. Offensive zone draw. Sakrisky will spin in circles, waiting for the linesman to get everybody set here. Far circle. Got Wolf Talby waiting right behind him. I assume we're going to win it back to Liam. They do, and his stick broke. Oh, my goodness. He had a one-time chance. Set up perfectly. His stick broke. Oh, lucky there for the Bugs as Wolf Talby will track it all the way down back of the net. Picked back up by Sakrisky. Overskated it for a moment. Got it back. Spins around one defender. Now feeds it over to the far side for Liam Wolf Talby. Wolf Talby up ahead. Outlet pass doesn't connect, and that's going to be an icing whistle with 8:51 left here in the third. But My, oh my, just unlucky there for Wolf Talby. They won it right back to him. Sometimes the broadcaster's right. I was that time, and just couldn't get a clean shot away. So now we got an icing whistle. 8:51, 3-2 the score. Amarillo with the lead over the Bugs. Have been back and forth battle. Amarillo was up 1-0. Bugs scored 2 answered to take the 2-1 lead, and Amarillo scored 2 answered to take the lead back. So that's where we stand now. As Zach Wilson controls the draw. D-zone tries to flip it out. Amarillo holds in. Shot there off the side of the net. Rebound comes up the far side half wall as Zakrisky throws it to the middle. And taken down there with Roberts as he lost the puck. Comes all the way back down. Wilson's going to have to win the foot race for it. But Thornton's going to win it in the corner. Thornton around Wilson. He jumps under Wilson and knock him down at the knees. Would have been a low block in football. Puck comes up far side half wall to Gerhard in the middle of the ice. Through the middle logo. Now cuts down the slot. Lost the puck as he tried to split the D. And it goes back out to the blue line. Bugs hold it in, says the linesman. Earhart tries to pitchfork it into the corner, but the Wranglers will start it back the other way. Hodges out to play it. Steves it away from Thornton, wrapped around the boards. Earhart picks it back up. Or rather, Mitchell Reed picks it up behind the net. Settles it down with 8 minutes to go in the third. Up ahead to the blue line. Earhart tried to leave it on first, though. And it's over the stick of Reed as the Bugs have to tag up. They go all the way back into road end. Flipped up to center ice. Foot race for it. Going to be won by Hoagland. Hoagland below the goal line. Centering feed for Earhart. Tried to one-time and rebound through the crease. Comes back out to the half wall. Picked back up by Remy. Pusateri below the goal line. Works off to his right. Up the wall for Gerhard. Slides it to the kick plate. To the blue line for Remy, who fires one through traffic. That got tipped. Comes back near side. Hoagland turns and fires shot. And they score top shelf to tie it up. Waiting there was Duke Earhart. It back in the lineup. He's got 2 goals. And the Bugs are back in it. We're tied at 3 with 7:22 to go.
Duke dropping the nuke once again. Credit to Jed Yoder with that. Back up to the booth. And, well, we're back up to an even hockey game, Zach. Love to see it.
So Hoagland just turned and fired it from an off angle. Earhart was waiting on the doorstep. And as the net came off, as it likes to do down there with Rexstrom in net, they beat him to this high stick side, and it's 3-3 with 7:22 to go.
Whew. Love to see it. Love to see it as Vinny DiUlio will take that face off.
You know it had to come. They had too many chances. I mean,
yeah.
31 shots. Now giveaway. Here's DiUlio, right corner, towards the net, below the goal line. Tried to flip it to the middle for Tremblay, but instead, Amarillo will throw it back out to center. Remy has the puck in his skates. Feeds it back to his own blue line. John Burnt picks it up for Willie. Tried to stick it to the middle that time, and this goes up into the Amarillo bench and out of play for Whistle with 7:01 left to go. Again, Bugs back in action next weekend. Back at home to close out the month and a half away from the friendly confines of George's Pond.
And of course, Zach and everybody else back at home, easiest way to come on out and save some money too. Family 4-pack ticket sale Friday, Saturday night. Friday's 4-pack gets you 4 tickets for Back to Popcorn and 4 post-game skate passes, as well as entry into the Word of God Ministries concert as part of our God and Goals night. And then on Saturday night, same deal, 4 tickets, 4 popcorn bags, and 4 post-game skate passes. Good shot there, though.
Burnt in the slot. Griner tried to turn and fired back in. Here's Burnt again. Far point. That one tipped by Griner on the way towards the net, goes wide. Tremblay leaves it into the corner for Jared. Centering feed right out in front on the doorstep. Trickles loose to the goaltender. Through the crease, he's down. Crowd wants a penalty call. He's going after the puck. And we're going to get a whistle behind the play with the injured netminder's helmet came off with 6:27. Man, oh man, there was a chance. And I'll tell you, the big thing there that I see is credit to the referee for not blowing the whistle. He made sure the puck was loose, as it was. And now the linesman talking to the referee. The linesman can help the official on potential major penalties.
Yeah, so that's what might happen. But I think the reason why the whistle got blown is because, you know, the helmet.
The helmet came off.
Yeah, the helmet of Weckstrom came off. So yeah, I think that's just where we're going to lay it, Zach.
No call there. Again, he's going for the puck. I mean, yeah, the goaltender gets knocked down, and of course that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But going for the puck, the contact sport, or collision sport, if you will.
Well, I mean, contact sport's a good name, but man, that's just.
Good friend of mine used to tell me that one, that basketball is a contact sport and everything else is a collision sport. So there you go. I don't remember who it was, or else I would say it, but nonetheless, ozone draw for the Bugs here, looking to claw their way back into the lead. 3-3 the score. Get knocked down that time was Barrett. Flipped up the wall. Owen Cates will pinch with his skate and hold in for a moment. Eventually Amarillo clears and winning the foot race by a few strides is Zach Wilson. That'll draw an icing whistle with 6:16 left to go. So Duncan, we had a nice flow while you were downstairs. You come back up and a couple of quick whistles.
Well, not only that, but, you know, as soon as I get up here, right.
You did get the goal. You did get the goal. I'll give you the goal.
No, but you're not. But no, I heard the. I'm not gonna lie. I only heard one kind of stoppage while I was down there, because that stoppage was the Amarillo goal. But now you're right. The flow of this game has just gone up, down, left, right, pool, pond, just all the way around.
The Wranglers have it. D-zone to the middle, all the way down, and another icing call. Maybe we should go back downstairs now. And then you got to come back up late in the game so we can get another goal.
Yeah.
It'll be 4-3. So there you go.
Yeah, maybe.
6:02 left. Jeez Louise.
Oh, and of course, Zach, as always, all icing this season right here over at Louder's Baking Company. That's Louder's Baking Company. By the way, best king cakes. I hope everyone has gotten a chance to at least try their king cakes. I was able to try this, and look, I know people were sick of Chet's food expenditures, and I know a lot of people are probably sick of mine, but it's the truth. Louder's has the best king cake, in my opinion. So.
Face off far side, tied up off the draw. Eventually Amarillo tries to fire it down. Goes into the stand. Somebody made a catch there. Now, it would have been icing anyway.
Yeah.
With the way it was going had it stayed in play. So either way, we're getting a whistle.
Yep.
5:57 left. This game's slow to a crawl again. It's almost like the game knows it's Saturday on getaway day, to steal a baseball term. So it knows it's got to, keep us some time. Can't be a quick one, ever, as it's slid up the wall. Big drive there from the right circle, turned aside. Bollinger picks it up, flips it up the wall. Almost hit fair. Icing is washed out by the linesman. Back of the cage, Adams plays it, comes near side. Up the wall again for Sakrisky. Dingles a couple of times around a defender, feeds it off to the right circle. Back for Reed, down the center of the ice at his own blue line. 5.5 and rolling, third period. 3-3 the score after the latest goal for Duke Earhart, his second of the game. And for those two goals puts him now at 13. There's a shot as the Bucks come in. Turned aside, Sakrisky and Wolf Talby get in there as Liam tells Chase to stay out of that one and pulls him off. And again, you want to stay 5-on-5 if you can.
Yeah, actually, absolutely is what I meant to say. But yes, actually, you really do. But with 5:24 left here in this third period, shot number-wise, man, I think in the last 2 weeks, I think this has been the most even shot game. I'm going to be honest, Zach.
There's been a lot of them, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, but I mean.
Big drive for Remy again is glove down. You got to play smart here because, you look at the standings. Of course, you want 2 points, but you need 1. Because Odessa dropped their game in regulation. So they stay where they were. Bugs were a point ahead of them.
And not only that, but El Paso 8-1 over the Oklahoma Warriors. Credit to honorary assistant coach Chris Lane for giving me the score information, as well as Matt Beinog earlier in the game. Man, just interesting stuff around the division. Hello.
I say Earhart looking for the hat trick. Comes up the wall. Changes direction at the hash marks. Fires one there. That's turned aside. Earhart still battling a couple of ringers. Flips it up the wall. Glove down by John Burt. He gets knocked off stride. Back to the blue line. It comes for Hoagland. Diving after it, but it's poked out by Azadi. Remy picks it back up in his own end. Wins the foot race for it. Husateri leaves it off for Burt near side. Cuts off to the far side now. To the right of the net. Flipped up the wall. Held in by Rassiga for a moment. Eventually played out to center. Gerhardt sticks it to the middle for Hoagland. Back for Grayson. Grayson for Duke. Down the slot. Couldn't corral it cleanly. Azadi will flip it down and head off for a change. Icing washed out by the linesman there. 4.5 to go. Third period tied at 3. Bugs up the far wall. Hoagland's got it at center. Tried to throw it to the middle, to the logo, but Dolan steals it away. Dolan has it poked away from him, and Tremblay flips it into the zone. Off the bench, Grinder comes streaking in, tries to split the D. Got knocked down by Poe, or almost knocked down by Poe there. Played back into the Bugs' head. Owen Case flips it off the wall. Giveaway in front, though. Here's a drive. That's one sent wide by Dolan. Comes around the near wall to the point, into open ice. Vinny plays it across far side. Dumped in by Hedquist. Forward, but not into the zone. To the blue line, Grinder. Toes the line. Tremblay one-time drive. Couldn't get a full handle on it. Rebound comes out in front of that. Hedquist will pick it up. Flips up the wall for Bennett. Owen Case pinches towards him. Comes back for Grinder, who skates after it and holds it in. Tremblay throws it at the net. That one's off the side of the cage. Rebound comes out as it's flipped out to center ice. Owen Case put his body in front of it to absorb the impact. It does get out of the zone, back to center. Fair turns and fires, and this one's going to go all the way down. 3.5 to go. Chipped around the boards near side. Diulio whiffs on the pass that time. Owen Case fed it across, but Tremblay corrals it along the boards. Flipped around the kick plate once more. Birchfield waits for it. Off of the bench, will turn and send it to the middle of the ice. O'Rourke through the middle logo that time. Dumped in again. Owen Case can't corral it, so it goes all the way to the corner. Back comes far side for Wilson. Wilson off the boards, passes it back to himself. Thornton intercepts it, but Barrett clears away the traffic in front of the net. He's got it at his own blue line. Now back into the zone for Case. Flips it up on a headman pass. And over the line right side. Centering feed there. Tried to hit Krisky. Gets it back. Fleets it up the wall for Reed, who fires one. Got tipped up into the netting, out of play. Stops time with 2 minutes and 50 seconds as this game gets tenser and tenser by the moment.
Oh, it really does. Mitchell Reed had a nice towering shot there. I'm telling you, if it just goes a few feet more, well, it's either going to go into the equipment of Weckstrom, but might go through the net. But again, that's just the what-ifs. But no, it's still a towering shot, though, by Mitchell Reed. And I'm not going to lie, you don't see this puck on a stick often. When you do, watch for it. So.
There's Birchfield off to netminder's right, which is the near side, which is opposite if you're watching with us on NATV. So if you are watching at home, just know we're not crazy. We do know directions. Just camera on the other side. Well, maybe a little crazy.
Yeah,
but
there you go.
2.5 to go, almost to the 2-minute warning. As it's controlled behind the goal line by Adams. Changes direction, leaves it off behind the cage. Way right in front, squirts out to Hodges, who to his left will glove it down for a whistle with 2:27.
Oh, I'm not going to that. Little speechless there, but I can come up with something. That was definitely took a funky, almost accidental bounce, but again, wherewithal of Tyler Hodges able to glove it down. So just, whew, all right.
And the important thing here as we hit down the stretch is Amarillo called their timeout early in the third, so they are out of timeouts. Of course, Bugs still have one as O'Rourke can't catch it cleanly, so it comes out. They'll tag up and dump it in. So it's picked up by Evan Adams behind the cage. 2 minutes and 15 seconds and rolling. Almost like to see the Bugs just hold it for 2 minutes behind the net, but nonetheless it's pitchforked by Earhart. Goes off for the linesman. He's gotten hit a couple of times tonight. That's kind of a rough night for him. Now along the other way. Here's Farrer down low behind the goal line. Goes coast to coast. Flips it up for Curatai. Snaps it across left point. One-time drive. Rebound. Comes right out into crease, and it's thankfully cleared out by the Bugs. Minute 50 to go and rolling. Tied at 3 here at Amarillo. Curatai flips up the wall. Icing, yes. As it's touched up by Remy with a minute 45 to go.
Boulanger asked a little bit about the icing, at least from our vantage point. Obviously, we don't have mic'd up boards yet. Maybe that'll be a new invention. I don't know. But no, Boulanger asking about the icing. It appears, at least from my vantage point. Minute 45 left. Zach, got to find something here.
The faceoff comes far side, offensive zone. Good chance for the Bugs here. Liam Wolf-Talby will going to take it. You missed that one. Well, actually, you probably saw it down there, Duncan. Wolf-Talby had a great feed off a faceoff. His stick broke, and that could have potentially given the Bugs the tie game earlier. That third goal would have been the go-ahead goal, but here's Boulanger around a couple of defenders, pokes it into the slot. Now it's poked away from him. Burnt's got it in his skates, bottom of the left circle. Starts up the wall, feeds it across to the far side. And over the line is Sakrisky. Bats it down to his stick, cuts through the slot, got rubbed off the puck. Could have drawn an interference call, but it's late in the game. Don't want to see anything cheap there with a minute 15 to go. Below the goal line, Sakrisky still battling after it. Spins off a check, centering feed right up to the middle. Goes far side for Roberts. Roberts trying to send it again towards the slot, but Hegarty will play it out to center ice. Tied up along his skates. Back into the Bugs end. Final minute of the third period. Flipped up the wall. To center ice it comes. Roberts has it over the red line. Roberts to the middle. Brought in over the line. Nice move into the corner for Hoagland. He lost the puck, gets it back. Below the goal line. Centering feed. Gerhardt fires one from the circle. That one's turned aside. Pick back up Resega. Far wall. Flips it up the wall. Gets it out to center. Poked ahead. Here's Hegarty. In over the line left side. Bugs cleared back out to center. 35 seconds to go. Fresh bodies out there for Amarillo. Bugs can't change quite yet because the Wranglers have the puck. They'll settle it down D-to-D. Behind her net, flipped up for Azadi. Azadi in over the line, feeds off to the left side, down the slot, rebound. After a kick save, it squirts just wide of the net. Phillips Hodges out of position, trying to get back. Goes wide of that. Azadi fires one, and Hodges will step in front of it with 12.5 to go. We let out a sigh of relief, and we'll get a face-off as Hodges again stands tall. He stopped 30 shots here so far today, and man, oh man, not only has he stopped 30 shots, they've been 30 good shots.
Absolutely, and you mentioned standing tall. Standing as tall as a 6'2" frame will allow him, and now some words from the head referee there, and just saying to Mitchell Reed, hey, head off, come on.
Yeah, they tried to get a late change here, did the Bugs. Tied up to the wall, flipped up the wall, but just barely out. Vinny, after a foot race, knocked off the puck at center. Bucks can't hold it out at center, so they'll have to tag up, and this is going to bring us to overtime. So the clock hits 0. We're tied at 3 as they kind of get tied up there, Vinny and Tarasenko. But so here we go, Duncan, the first overtime game since El Paso back on January 18th. So it's been a little bit of a while since we've had some extra hockey. But most importantly, the Bucks get a point.
That's important, but you'd like to see the second one coming through. That's the main thing. But it is good to get a point, but basically all in all, get that second point. Let's roll on out of here. But you know what? We'll find that out in 5 minutes.
Absolutely. 90 seconds left in the overtime break. We'll take a quick timeout here on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Duncan Welker. Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke-flavored sausage, and sausage the way it was meant to be.
Hey, this is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action. Claws up.
It's time for free hockey for the first time in the month of February here in 2026 as we head to overtime, tied at 3. Amarillo got up to a 1-0 lead. Bucks got 2 unanswered. They made it 2-1. Wranglers got 2 unanswered back to make it 3-2. Bucks get that last goal late in the third period. Now we're tied at 3, 5 minutes on the clock. Overtime upcoming.
Oh, it's just the beauty of overtime hockey is Joe Semengo will take the face-off tie. Azadi for the Wranglers. Overtime starting now. Let's get her going, brother.
So here we go. Semengo wins it over to the wall. Adams will track it down, sends it back into his own net. Or into his own zone, rather. And now a giveaway as going down and blowing a tire that time was Semengo. Played back out to center by Amarillo. And again, this is a new style of 3-on-3 hockey out there as the Wranglers played back for Tarasenko. Drops it off for Azadi. Azadi with speed up the far wing and over the line. Dances around Adams. Down below the goal line now. He lost position on the play. Into the corner it goes, slides it back up to the neutral ice as he corrals all the way back into his own end. Azadi all the way back to the circle. It's given away right in open ice. Semengo tracks down the loose puck. Just about 40 seconds gone here in the overtime period. No shots for either side. Up the near wing, Semengo dances off to his left, in over the line, down the slot, lost the puck, got it back, behind the net, tries to wrap it around. They'll send him over to the wall, does Boulanger. 4-car pile up there. Roberts comes in to help. Wrapped up the boards, and Burnt will just leisurely stroll back out to grab it at center. The Bugs will get the new bodies out there. Hoagland and Gerhardt jump on the ice. Here's Evan down the left side. Hoagland, bottom of the left circle, below the goal line. Spins it back up top for Gerhardt, and that's a bad turnover there as now it's back the other way. Resega can't corral it cleanly. Icing washed out as it's touched by Hodges. Burnt off to the left of the net. Takes a couple of slashes. Now down the middle. Through the logo, in over the line, gets knocked off the puck into the board. Bugs bench wants a penalty. Not going to get one here as Boulanger will track it down far side. 3.5 to go in overtime. Up the middle, Burnt at his own blue line will grab it. Back up to center ice again. Hedquist brings it in over the line for Amarillo. Down the slot, Hedquist fires. It got tipped, and Hodges will jump on top of it. And then now Hedquist gets involved as he goes shoving everybody down there. Linesman will step in quickly as the fireworks continue here with 3:16 left in the overtime frame.
Well, Zach, I think this song that's currently playing right now, people can hear it back home, Great Balls of Fire by Jerry Lee Lewis, one of my personal favorites, describes his hockey game and really describes his first 3 minutes, well, actually that last second there, just great balls of fire. Man, yeah.
All right, here we go. 3:16 left, tied at 3. Earhart has 2 goals. The other one going to Ryan Barrett to make it 3 goals in total. 3:16 left in overtime. Off the draw, Owen Case will control behind his net. Works off to his left, being harassed on a back check by Amarillo. They take him down, but the Bugs hold on to possession in the defensive end, trying to start the breakout. Here we go. Earhart sticks it off to the right for DiUlio. Vinny down to the bottom of the left circle or right circle. In the corner, back up top for Owen Case at the blue line. Feeds it for Earhart at the hash marks. Duke slides it back across for Vinny. DiUlio works into the slot. Now down to the hash marks again. Circles back up top to the blue line. He'll come back out to center ice. Backpedals over the center logo all the way back into his own end. 2:40 to go in overtime. Flipped up the wall again, far side. In open space, here's Adams down the slot, fires. Reckstrom stops it. Adams gets it back behind the net before Hegarty grabs it. Tied up along the wall in the corner. Bugs got to get 3 skaters out there. Barrett comes back out. High slot again as Adams drops it off for Barrett. Fires it. Rebound. It's pounced on top of. Earhart is on the doorstep. It's covered by Reckstrom as he keeps Amarillo in the game once again and stops the clock with 2:20 left in overtime.
What a hectic turn of events that could have been, and as linesman readjusts the net, I think it was just a readjustment, though. It wasn't like the net fully came off, or else we would have heard about it from somewhere out there in the universe. Now, but I'm kidding. Just a sequence of events that could have led to something good, but 2:20 left, still a ton of time left in overtime, Zach. Wow.
I will never understand how people don't like hockey.
I don't either.
I mean, how does it get more exciting than this as Hedquist tracks it down? Sudden victory, of course, being a big thing. You know, the other sports, the other team gets the ball. I mean, what fun is that?
Well,
Hedquist has it below the goal line. 2 minutes to go. He's just got to settle it down and wait for everybody to get in place. Azadi circles at the blue line. He's got Hegarty at the circles. Icing is going to be washed out as Azadi wins the footer race. Hodges got a piece of it, but Azadi corrals it below the goal line, flips it up the wall, back for Hedquist, again below the goal line, off to the left of the net, circles back up, high slot, drops off for Azadi. Azadi, right circle, centering feed, Hegarty was waiting on the doorstep, he couldn't get it cleanly. He had a wide open net on a quick pass, but he couldn't get it. Hedquist centering feed again, and Barrett got a piece of it to turn it to the wall. Roberts calling for it behind the D. Barrett up the blue line, in over the line, drops it off. High slot, Burt fires it, rebound comes out, and Azadi turns and fires. This is going to be icing, and the Bugs are going to get an offensive zone draw with 1:21 on the overtime clock.
Just my heart's in my chest. It goes down to my stomach, back and forth and back and forth. You're right, Zach. I don't understand how people don't like hockey. I truly don't.
So here we go, offensive zone draw. Hoagland, he's got Adams behind him at the blue line and Gerhardt on his far wing. Minute 20 to go. Hoagland jumps the drive for Gerhardt. He pushed it wide. He was wide open net off another great play, but he just couldn't get it cleanly. Gerhardt they're trying to get him to go off for a change. Now it's Hegarty plays it back into his own end. Gerhardt fights after it. Gets a stick on it for a moment. Hegarty gets it back. Final minute of overtime here in Amarillo, tied at 3. Shots are 38-34 in favor of the Bugs, and now Amarillo's going to settle it down back of the net. Here we go. Final 50 seconds of rolling as the crowd starts to make some noise. Up ahead is Resega, down the left wing, around the defense. Resega centering feet up top, and they push it wide again. Just like the Bugs did the other ends to end it, and nobody thus far with 35 seconds to go. Back of the net, Kuritai picks it up. Hangs out behind his goaltender, Wextra. Bullen J off to his right. Resega, the leading scorer, off to his left. He's just going to hold on to it for 20 seconds. They're going to go for one last rush. Smart play here. Although it's not as exciting for us to watch him steer behind the net. Here comes Bullen J up the near wall. Around the defender, he's got a chance. Bullen J lost the puck. It's a potential turnover. Hoagland down the right side. Hoagland blasted. That shot turned aside, a rebound, comes out in front, and we're going to a shootout here in Amarillo as nobody is able to score in overtime. Both teams with the chances, but it's Hodges stand tall.
You know what's funny? The last time we went to a shootout in this building, I'm not going to say the result, Their Amarillo broadcaster, Daniel Whitten, he actually told me, if you loved that game, then you love goalies. And it's true here tonight, too. Tyler Hodges, Casimir Ekstrom, both standing on their head, as well as, I want to say the defensive effort. It was there, don't get me wrong, it was there. But the goaltending effort, and we're really going to see it here after this. 30 seconds walks on down.
And that was the last shootout the Bugs played in back on December 5th. Thankfully, because as I mentioned to you during the break, for my health's sake, the less shootouts at overtimes, the better. But, yeah, you got to love it. I just don't get how somebody can watch 3-on-3 overtime or a shootout and not like hockey. I just don't. I will never understand. Like, you don't like the rest of the game, fine, whatever. But
I get it, yeah. Oh, so there's actually a funny story my mom would always tell me. Former Mudbugs goaltender Ken Carroll, every time there would be a shootout, his mother would hide, like, back behind the I mean, do you blame him? Or blame her, rather, excuse me, as Joe Semango is going to be the first shooter for the Bugs here.
Here we go, top of the first. Joe Semango waits at his own blue line, waiting for the signal from the referee. Here we go, Semango, the righty stick, approaches the puck at center. Off to his right, slowly over the blue line. Cuts into the slot at the hash marks, looks, forehand shot, tries to poke it 5-hole, he missed it. So he is unsuccessful. And he's upset at himself as he skates back to the bench.
Looks like for Amarillo now, it's for their shooter, it's going to be number 18, Kodos Fair. I believe that's how you say his name. Yes, Fair.
So here we go. Fair is going to wait at his own blue line for the signal. Here he goes. He's the lefty stick. Approaches the puck at center. It's got it on its blade. Pokes it ahead a few steps. Now corrals it. Right circle. Looks. Deeks twice. Shoots. Scores. Goes 5-hole on Tyler Hodges. And Fair strikes first. Amarillo in the lead after the first round of the shootout.
Yep. That's where we lay things, Zach. And now Duke Earhart will be the second shooter for the Bugs. And, of course, returning to the lineup after that one-game suspension. You know after this 2-goal effort he's had tonight, he wants a chance to make another impact in this game as he takes his strides.
Let's get a hat trick, Duke. Down in the slot. He's going right after it. Goes backhand, tries to flip it up, and Ekstrom with a glove stop. He flashes the leather and robs Earhart, and the Bugs are 0 for 2.
Yep, and you see Duke Earhart banging his stick against the boards, and it's a valid reaction. Duke Earhart, as Ty Azadi now will take it up next for the Wranglers.
Azadi, the alternate captain, the righty stick with speed, approaches the puck. Across the blue line, swings all the way out to the far hash marks. Into the slot. Deeks goes forehands, passes it, pokes it past Hodges. He wants the referee to say no goal. The referee says goal, and Amarillo wins it for the second straight time in the shootout against the Bugs as they mob Ekstrom down in the defensive zone to our right. A big effort for the Bugs, but just can't overcome in the shootout.
The goal came off, and you hate to make that the excuse, but I think the bucket unfortunately crossed the line before the net went off, and you just hate to see a game end like that. But so Amarillo will take this one 4-3, and now Hodges is asking for an explanation from head referee there, as not only Reed, Ryan Barrett, and Gabriel Lopez Corsi.
So Smitty's trying to get the guys off the ice here.
Because I think even Smitty knows that.
Yeah, like you said, Duncan, the puck was already over the line. It was the right post that came off. He went to the left of the net. Hodges still asking for it, but not going to get it from the referee. So Semango and Earhart go scoreless. Fair and Azadi both score for Amarillo. They take it in the shootout by a final score of 4-3. Back to recap after.
Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker. Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be. Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata and Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case or visit them online at defatapi.com.
This is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Already back here in Amarillo, Bugs fall in the shootout. Final score 4-3 after a scoreless effort. Semengo and Earhart both robbed by Rexstrom, but tough to see it end this way. But the Bugs do fall in the shootout 4-3. Welcome back into the Mudbugs wrap-up show brought to you by our friends at Nikki's Mexican Restaurant. Don't drink the water. Try our margaritas today. Good effort for the Bugs. 39 shots on goal. Not much else you can do offensively here, Duncan, as they unfortunately fall, but they get that all-important 1 point at least.
Yep, absolutely. That 1 point is going to be crucial, and so as it will stand, the Bugs will be tied with the Oklahoma Warriors, who do still have a game in hand as we move along here, Zach, but that's the main thing. Now, granted, Corpus did win tonight, so that push just gets a little harder, but it keeps Odessa back behind things. But these next stretches of games, especially back when we're at home inside George's Pond, is going to be the most crucial hockey these guys have played, and if not in their entire career, then pretty close to it, Zach. But yeah, just a tough way to end things. But you know, Tyler Hodges stood absolutely on his head, as he always does. As we pull up the live stats here on the NAHL app, actually, and I apparently can't seem to get anything, but nonetheless, you know what he did tonight, stopping 31 of 34, and so good effort on the part of Tyler Hodges. And don't get me wrong, on the other side of things, Casimir Wexstrom stopping 36 of 39. So really, once again, it was a goaltending game, and I think there's not much more you can say. But it was also more exciting to some people.
Absolutely. Well, and you know, Rexstrom, again, I don't know what more you can say about him. I mean, Earhart had a perfectly laid out shootout shot.
Oh, yeah.
And he went forehand, and he just got robbed by Rexstrom. I mean, it's unfortunate, but like you said, goaltending game. But you got to love the effort for the Bugs. They gave up those 2 unanswered goals to fall back behind for the second time of the game, get that late goal to tie it up, force overtime. A couple of huge saves for Hodges in overtime, a couple of big defensive plays as well for the Bugs to force a shootout, and, you know, again, just came up just a tad short in the shootout there. So, again, a good effort. Bugs go back home to Shreveport after a 3-point weekend out of 4, so I mean, we'll take it. Every point matters. Every game's a playoff game at this point with 17 games to go.
Oh, yeah. And that's all you really can ask for, Zach, just being as crucial can be, I guess, if you had to put it like that. But I want to talk about Duke Earhart for a second. Guy comes in off a suspension, and don't get me wrong, rightfully so, and believe me, I'll be honest, I'm surprised there wasn't more. I'll be honest. I was a little surprised when hearing that news. But like I said, he comes off a suspension, gets 2 goals, and gives everything he can in that shootout, only just to get the luck of the puck draw. And same thing with Joe Semengo. I mean, he comes off an injury for the love of it all. He puts as much effort as he can for shootout. So again, it's all going back to that effort that we talk about. Effort. But effort only counts if you can put it and get 2 points on the board. Don't get me wrong, believe me. I hate saying it because it was such a good effort tonight. But effort only matters the most when you can get those 2 points, Zach.
The Bugs make it to the shootout, get 1 point in the standings, keeps them ahead of Odessa after the Jackalopes drop their game in dramatic fashion to Corpus Christi, 6-5. We'll take a quick timeout. On the other side, we'll take you around the North American Hockey League South Division before calling it a night here from Amarillo on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
This is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Already back here in Amarillo, Mudbugs wrap-up show brought to you by Nikki's Mexican Restaurant. Don't drink the water. Try our margaritas today. 4-3, the final score in the shootout as the Bugs fall, but again, get that all-important point. So as we kind of look at those standings, things tightening up with just under 17 games to go. Let's take a look now at our out-of-town scoreboard around the NAHL South Division.
Thanks, Zach. Of course, El Paso 9-1, still ongoing with 11:20 left in the third period. Just an all-out barrage. A 6-goal first period from the El Paso Rhinos. Whew. But moving along here to the other game in the South Division, that's not us. Corpus Christi 6, Odessa 5. So like I mentioned, it's good to keep Odessa behind, but Corpus Christi, unfortunately, keeps moving up and gets that playoff spot race just a little more tougher. But that's good and bad. And of course, here in Amarillo, Bugs fall 4-3. Now, looking at the standings real quick, as I mentioned, let's take a look at these standings. Lone Star still in first place, 61. El Paso, they're coming up though, so there's still a ton of time for El Paso to get that first seed. But we move on. New Mexico sitting in third. Lone Star, New Mexico were off this week, so no, not a ton of movement there. And like I mentioned, Corpus Christi sitting in fourth with 49. Oklahoma with 45, and they'll stay at that 45 as a result of their game unless, well, something happens. And moving along here, Mudbugs in sixth, but they will tie Oklahoma, but Oklahoma does have a game in hand on that, so we'll have to see where the standings wash out after all things are done. Of course, Odessa, as I mentioned, they dropped their game too. Corpus Christi, so they'll stay down in seventh with 43 points. And then, of course, the Amarillo Wranglers, they will get 2 points on the night, and they will stay in eighth place. But, again, the playoff race and really just the positioning of points, especially with 17 games to go, third through eighth is just up and down. Fourth through eighth, rather. But, man, just an interesting turn of events here, Zach. But that's all I got on my front. I got to head on down. And, well, ladies and gentlemen who are still tuned in, thank you once again for tuning in to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. So, as always, do good, be good, claws up, and go Bugs. Zach, set us home.
Bugs back in action at home tomorrow night, or next weekend, rather. Jeez, it's late down here on the Amarillo coast. February 20th and 21st, God and Goals Night Friday, and Claws and Paws Saturday against the Odessa Jackalopes. Those are going to be two huge games for the Bugs. They'll be sure to come out and join us. Ryan Barrett got the first goal for the Bugs. Two more followed up by none other than Duke Earhart coming back in the lineup. 4-3, the Bugs do fall in the shootout. I want to again thank everybody for tuning in on behalf of Duncan Welker and the rest of the wonderful folks back home in Shreveport. I'm Zach Grant saying so long, good night, and good hockey.